Let's go. Canada first! Canada first! Canada first! Canada first! Canada first! Canada first! Freedom! Freedom! Canada first, baby, let's go! Fuck Trudeau!
These globalists need to fall.
Hey, Anti-Hate, what do you think about this?
Give me an HH.
Honk, honk! It's a great day to come out here and support our truckers.
Oh, look at this.
It's the fake news CBC, boys. They're going into hiding.
Fake news, go! Don't worry, we're fighting for you guys too. Yo, this guy's got the gas. Growing for you out here, we're holding the line.
The Charlottetown Conference set Confederation in motion. On July 1st, 1867, Sir John A. Macdonald became Canada's first Prime Minister.
The elbozo, or Liberalis fanaticus, is a hardy, long-lived species commonly found in the settled regions of eastern Canada, though sightings persist even in the west. This boomer subspecies has adapted remarkably well to stable habitats, paid-off mortgages, cushy pensions, and reliable access to Canadian Liberal Party talking points brought to them by the CBC. Notice the distinctive behavior, the rhythmic flopping of elbows up and down in unison, often performed in groups during moments of high agitation. The signature call rings out clear and insistent, elbows up, a rallying cry that echoes across lawns, community halls, and comment sections alike. Elbozos display an extraordinary focus on external threats, particularly the distant figure of Donald Trump, whom they perceive as a greater threat than any domestic challenge. Its attention to the affordability struggles of younger Canadians remains limited. Having long secured its own nesting site and food cache, the elbozo prioritizes the preservation of established comforts. It derives much of its worldview from a single, trusted source, the CBC, consuming daily broadcasts with the same steady dedication the beaver shows to its dam. Ever seen an elbozo? Well, look, here it is now, elbows flapping vigorously in defense of the status quo. For a more complete story of elbozos, why not contact the Canadian Wildlife Service in Ottawa?
The global roach, a resilient invertebrate thriving amid economic upheavals and political scrutiny, often labeled unkillable in government-funded media. Inhabits high-finance crevices from Bank of Canada vaults to UN climate bunkers and Brookfield boardrooms, scurrying through Davos debris and Ottawa policy piles. Survives trade wars, tariffs, and snap elections unscathed. Hoards resources from its nest to more fertile domains at the cost of its brethren. Immune to populism, it thrives on nationalism surges, observe raiding pantries in resilient economies. Tends to cower and capitulate to a more dominant adversary. Report infestations to opposition benches. For more information on the global roach, contact the Canadian Wildlife Service in Ottawa.
Theirs is the voice of free peoples, freely pledging loyalty to a common ideal, a common heritage, a common tie.
I'm slowly drifting to you. So stars and planets are calling me. A billion years away from you. I'm on my way. I'm on. I'm on.
Deep within the manicured wilderness of Parliament Hill, one can observe a truly fascinating specimen, the political weasel. Known to scholars of ethics as Blackphaceus corruptus, this cunning creature has adapted beautifully to an environment thick with lobbyists, hashtags, and plausible deniability. While outwardly charming, the political weasel possesses a complex social structure based entirely on self-preservation. It communicates primarily through carefully rehearsed empathy and subsists on a diet rich in taxpayer-funded travel and curated outrage. Natural predators include weary voters and access to information requests, though prolonged exposure to friendly journalists often renders it functionally invincible. In times of stress, the Blackphaceus employs a remarkable defense display. A flourish of public remorse, followed swiftly by vacation. Over the years, several distinct migrations have been recorded. The infamous SNC Lavalin vines entangled it briefly before it slipped free on a technicality. Its excursion down the Wee Charity Trail remains a source of confusion to conservationists, as it involved both kinfolk and ethical erosion in equal measure. Yet resilience defines the political weasel. Even amid scandal, it thrives, shedding accountability with the same ease it sheds staff. Its natural camouflage, a blend of carefully tousled hair and moral flexibility, ensures survival in nearly any ideological climate. For more information on the political weasel, please contact the Canadian Wildlife Service in Ottawa.
We used to run wide open, living life without fear. Now I really don't know how we ever got here, We let the little things pile up, we fence ourselves in. Sometimes you gotta tear it all down, start over again. Put the key in and drive. Send your mind on down the road, past everything you know. Turn your wheels and go just drive. Put some blacktop in front of you. Let those white lines run under you. Heading for somewhere, leaving something behind. Just to ride. We could burn across the desert, see those Vegas lights, take a drive down Main Street. People do it all the time. People do it all the time. Cruise up to the mountains, get close to the stars. If you find yourself unhappy where you are, just get in your car and drive. Send your mind on down the road, past everything you know. Turn your wheels and go just drive. Put some blacktop in front of you. Let those white lines run under you. Heading for somewhere, leaving something behind. Just to ride. It don't matter at all, just to ride. It don't matter at all, just to ride. It don't matter at all, just to
Place du Canada. The statue hits the ground, McDonald's head pops off.
Queen of Canada. the children sang Dieu sauve le roi.
Evan Balgord, Executive Director of the Canadian Anti-Hate Network.
Bernie Farber, Chair of the Canadian Anti-Hate Network.
He's a nonpartisan, nonprofit.
We wear our biases on our sleeves. We are very proudly anti-fascist, and we focus on the far right.
Last summer, we had a 100-year-old church burned to the ground.
Canada's leaders aren't condemning the burning of churches. No, they're endorsing the burning of churches.
I understand that it's not your organization's mandate to talk about these things. As you've said, you're clearly focused on the far right.
COVID conspiracy theories.
Safe and effective.
They kill. They kill.
This so-called convoy actually seeded the ground for the worst display of Nazi and racist propaganda that I have ever seen in this country. Bullies, racists, bigots, and Nazis.
We now have over 300 active hate groups in Canada.
There's other groups that we're very concerned about.
Jeremy Mackenzie, the de facto leader of the Diagolon movement, a neo-Nazi organization.
Accelerationists who want to violently overthrow the system.
No fighting, no spitting, no throwing anything, don't even litter.
Who are now also encouraging their members to join.
If there's a speed limit on walking, walk slower than that.
One of the key figures of that, Jeremy Mackenzie, his slogan is gun or rope.
If they say it's now illegal to look at the sky, then look at the ground. Be good, for the love of God.
Do you know if the Canada Anti-Hate Network's views about you have been relied upon by law enforcement or other senior officials in the federal government?
Yes, I have.
Diagolon.
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 Diagolon. Diagolon. Diagolon. A far-right extremist group.
We're talking about a group that is organized, driven by an extreme ideology.
A so-called accelerationist group.
Formed by a former member of the Canadian Armed Forces.
Which aims to accelerate racial conflict to lead to the eventual creation of a white ethno-state.
Its stated purpose is, quote, to incite a race war.
The need to justify a state of emergency.
The federal government has invoked the Emergencies Act.
There's some people that just want their lives back. And they enact the War Measures Act, the Emergency Measures Act, to justify a violent and brutal crackdown on old people and women and wounded veterans. You beat wounded veterans in the street, you scum!
What if I told you the organization and the individuals responsible for pushing this are being exposed right now in Canada?
It all circles back to one group, and that's the Canadian Anti-Hate Network.
That is pretty fair to say.
Liberal-funded Antifa propaganda. That's what the government of Canada was making their decisions on.
You were supposed to be grown-ups, confirm things and look into things.
The RCMP recognized that Diagolon was not a criminal group, it was not a terrorist entity, and they had trouble even defining it as a group at all. This whole narrative, they knew it was bunk.
The justification of the Emergencies Act during the trucker convoy came from lies from anonymous Twitter trolls from Anti-Hate.
Uncovered in Hategate is a string of emails from government officials.
Politician goes on TV and says that, oh, there's this terrorist group involved in the convoy. Then people say, can you back up your statement? And he says, talk to law enforcement. And then law enforcement is like, oh crap, we gotta find something. So they just spend 15 minutes, Google Diagolon, and come up with this hit piece.
That Global News article conveniently sources one expert. That expert is from the Canadian Anti-Hate Network.
But it's the circle jerk, this vicious circle, one person feeding fake information to another who then finances those people to provide the fake information so they can then launder it off to whomever they need to in order to justify whatever fabricated crisis they financed that never existed in the first place.
I consider it the single most embarrassing and grotesque intelligence failure in national history.
We've got the right to choose. Canada first, baby, let's go. Canada first, Canada first, Canada first, Canada first, Canada first, Canada first, freedom, freedom, Canada first, baby, let's go. Fuck Trudeau.
These globalists need to fall.
Hey, anti-hate, what do you think about this?
Give me an HH.
Honk, honk! It's a great day to come out here and support our truckers. Oh, look at this!
It's the fake news CBC, boys.
They're going into hiding. Fake news, go home! Don't worry, we're fighting for you guys too. Yo, this guy's got the gas. Throwing your new out here, we're holding the line.
The Charlottetown Conference set Confederation in motion. On July 1st, 1867, Sir John A. Macdonald became Canada's first Prime Minister.
The Elbozo, or Liberalis fanaticus, is a hardy, long-lived species commonly found in the settled regions of eastern Canada, though sightings persist even in the west. This boomer subspecies has adapted remarkably well to stable habitats, paid-off mortgages, cushy pensions, and reliable access to Canadian Liberal Party talking points brought to them by the CBC. Notice the distinctive behavior, the rhythmic flopping of elbows up and down in unison, often performed in groups during moments of high agitation. The signature call rings out clear and insistent, elbows up, a rallying cry that echoes across lawns, community halls, and comment sections alike. Elbozos display an extraordinary focus on external threats, particularly the distant figure of Donald Trump, whom they perceive as a greater threat than any domestic challenge. Its attention to the affordability struggles of younger Canadians remains limited. Having long secured its own nesting site and food cache, the Elbozo prioritizes the preservation.
Evan Balgord, Executive Director of the Canadian Anti-Hate Network.
Bernie Farber, Chair of the Canadian Anti-Hate Network.
He's a nonpartisan, nonprofit.
We wear our biases on our sleeves. We are very proudly anti-fascist, and we focus on the far right.
Last summer, we had a 100-year-old church burned to the ground.
Canada's leaders aren't condemning the burning of churches. No, they're endorsing the burning of churches.
I understand that it's not your organization's mandate to talk about these things. As you've said, you're clearly focused on the far right.
COVID conspiracy theories.
Safe and effective.
They kill. they killed. This so-called convoy actually seeded the ground for the worst display of Nazi and racist propaganda that I have ever seen in this country. Bullies, racists, bigots, and Nazis. We now have over 300 active hate groups in Canada.
There's other groups that we're very concerned about.
Jeremy Mackenzie, the de facto leader of the Diagolon movement, a neo-Nazi organization.
Accelerationists who want to violently overthrow the system.
No fighting, no spitting, no throwing anything, don't even litter.
Who are now also encouraging their members to join.
If there's a speed limit on walking, walk slower than that.
One of the key figures of that, Jeremy Mackenzie, his slogan is gun or rope.
If they say it's now illegal to look at the sky, then look at the ground. Be good, for the love of God.
Do you know if the Canada Anti-Hate Network's views about you have been relied upon by law enforcement or other senior officials in the federal government?
Yes, I have.
Diagolon.
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 Diagolon. Diagolon. A far-right extremist group.
We're talking about a group that is organized, driven by an extreme ideology.
A so-called accelerationist group.
Formed by a former member of the Canadian Armed Forces.
Which aims to accelerate racial conflict to lead to the eventual creation of a white ethno-state.
Its stated purpose is, quote, to incite a race war.
Justify a state of emergency.
The federal government has invoked the Emergencies Act.
There's some people that just want their life.
Hello, everyone. Hope you've all had a blessed start to your week, as per usual. Apologies for being missing yesterday. Had to reschedule the stream for today. Long story short, just, couldn't give you guys the best show that night, so had to extend it. But in any case, we're back. We're back with yet another episode of The White Pill. Thank you, everyone that's been watching so far. I realize it's not, we ain't going viral, but that's not the point. That's not the mission. Point is to have fun. Have fun, tell the truth, and hopefully make an impact with all this. But in any case, let's see here. Yeah, tonight. So, sorry, just pulling up my notes. I'm going to be covering Black History Month. Happy Black History Month to all my fellow niggas. Happy Black History Month. It's a great time of the year. Honestly, my favorite time of the year, if I can even say that. Even better than Christmas, I'd say. Even better than my birthday. In fact, I look forward to Black History Month every year. I have it marked down on my calendar and everything. Yep, every single day I wake up and I crump over to my kitchen. I pull out my food that I've purchased with my EBT. I could go on, but in any case, yeah, happy Black History Month. We're going to be talking about that a little bit today. It hit me the other day. I was walking home, and I see this giant sign, like absolutely giant, the kind that you would see in in Yonge and Dundas in Toronto. That's our New York Times, right? Or sorry, not New York Times. Jesus, apologies. How am I blanking on this? Times Square. Fuck. How the fuck did I confuse it to? Times Square. It's like Toronto's Times Square. And there was this giant billboard in my neighborhood. And it was basically just saying, hey, it's Black History Month with, the classic colors, the red, the green, and the black, I think. And sometimes yellow for some reason. But in any case, right? Silhouettes of these black women in that. And I was just thinking, like, really? We're still in that era of culture and social phenomena that we all believe in this. We're gonna celebrate this month. Oh, yet again, it's that time of year. It's so beyond not just pointless, but it's actually damaging to the brand, if I can even say that, like, to Black Americans. Like, it's such a fucking joke that Minecraft released like some campaign that you can play now as the social leaders and you get to be part of the quote unquote resistance. What the fuck are we talking about? What? So what, do you get to play as Rosa Parks? Do you get to play as MLK and you're leading everyone up on Selma? What the fuck are we on? What are we talking about? That's insane. They had to lock the comments of that post like almost immediately within like an hour. I'm surprised it even stayed up that long because people literally, they just, I mean, they shit on it. They absolutely eviscerated them as they should. I mean, my God, for anyone that still believes in BLM and watching the essentially the quality of life of Black people change through either some misguided sense of revolution or smashing the white patriarchy, like whoever the fuck, like whoever still believes in that is either just so lost to their cause or they're actually just retarded, like legitimately. Because I don't know how anyone could still believe in that and exist in our reality. It's just it's fucking, it's mind-boggling to me. But anyways, we'll get into all that, and then we're also going to talk about the 100-year plan, which is a lot less mysterious than than I made it sound. I just needed something clever. It's basically the outlook on the mission, why it's important, why the white pill is important. Not the show itself, but the idea of taking the white pill, as it were. Why all that's important and what actually needs to happen. And this isn't some like grand master plan that I've concocted. It's just, no, look, long story short, before I even get into all that, the left for, God, I mean, how many years since the 60s has been the culturally dominant force, right? And not just like classic liberalism, but actually like leftist extremism, right? It's absolutely dominated the landscape for decades. Okay, starting in the 60s with the universities and onwards. And at the end of the day, that kind of mentality, it has led us this far. It has led us into a world where when Charlie Kirk dies, people are straight up like just celebrating openly. They feel that comfortable that they would post that on social media. And wherever your political allegiances lie and your thoughts on Charlie Kirk, I mean, a guy that was just going out and speaking with people. I mean, that's all he did. He wasn't going out and killing people or calling for their death or anything like that. He's just spreading his message. The leftists are doing the exact same thing on their shows, on their podcasts, and their rallies. They're doing the exact same thing, except here's a man on the other side of the aisle, and for speaking out, he gets shot. And people, not only does that happen, people actively celebrate it. And not just like random students and, you know, radicals that are unemployed, living with parents. No. Professors, people that own businesses, some people in certain political offices. I mean, to see that, it really put it into perspective. Oh, they're like everywhere. These people that believe in this thing, that believe that this was right, they are everywhere. They're in every single instance of society, both cultural, political, in business, students, all that. They are everywhere. And if we can't live in a society where sharing an opinion doesn't get you shot, then we kind of have a fucking problem. We have a problem if we can't like just have an open dialogue. This guy was at a university event. He's just doing his usual tour. Like what do you mean? If you disagree with him, go, like he invites people to go up to the mic first if you disagree with him. And there's always a long line of them. If you have the better argument, then go up and actually say something. But these people, they don't want to have the argument. They don't even want to have the discussion. They think that the existence of that argument itself, of that domain where people can even talk about this, is evil. They think that even talking about these issues directly means to harm them. Right? That's what they mean when they say speech is violence. Because even uttering this means, oh, I have a subset of beliefs, and therefore I'm going to act like this, and I'm going to use my position in a dominance hierarchy. That's how these people think. That is how they think. And I know that for a fact because I was among them, and not part of them, but in the sense that I was like at ground zero. I was in university when this was happening, in a social sciences program, no less. Right? I don't usually talk about that. Well, no, I have sometimes on this show, but I never really go in depth. But yeah, I'm going to be using a lot of that personal experience, because holy shit, do I have some stories to tell. But yeah, these people, we can't share a society with them. And I'm not saying classic liberals that are like, oh, let's legalize weed. Like, stuff like that. Like, okay, fine. Who gives a shit? We can work with those people. Okay? Maybe the government should be fucking us over less and paying the people more. Oh, okay, all right. I can get with that. Yeah, I can get with that. Getting rid of government waste. Sure. But these people are not like that. They're not. they're just fundamentally not, and they think that our existence, the fact that I can even say any of this, is a crime against them. Okay, so we have to do something about that. We can't just ignore it. We can't act on the same principles and expect to get something different. We can't have an open hand reached out to these kind of people. Plain and simple. That's all it is. So we'll be getting into more of that later. But here, let me check. Oh, yes. Before we get into Black History Month, that's going to be a fun one. To support the stream, you can always just, like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate anyone that watches. I don't read donations, and I don't read chat until the end of the stream. So if you want to have your donation read at the end of the stream, or you have a question or whatever, check the link at bio.link/whitepill. It's always in the description of every episode, so it'll be there. But yeah, we got PayPal link and a crypto link if you feel so inclined. Because all the addresses, QR codes, all that. So have at it. But yeah, without further ado, let's go over some new additions that we've made to the list. And the list, for those unfamiliar, this is a list of policies and various levers of political influence that need to be changed. And I make this just as a part of it is a short list of actionable things that we need to do as soon as we are able to amass enough political influence, right? Until we as a movement, it feels kind of cringe calling it that, but I mean that is what it is. Until we can amass that political power, we need to keep track of all these things. We need to keep track of the judges that are ruling certain cases. Okay, we need to keep track of certain laws, policies that go against the ideas of Canada First. And so I've made this list, and let me just explain it real quick for those that don't know. Laws and policies, pretty self-explanatory. Judges, like I said earlier, this is going to be essentially containing the names of judges, and this isn't meant to target them in the way of like personal attack. I don't want these people harmed, okay? I want them fired. I don't want them harmed. So this list is not like a fucking Nixon hit list. No. Could not be further from the truth. I want these people out of office. I want them away from positions of influence. I want them extradited. Okay? Plain and simple. Because part of the reason why Canada is so fucked up is not just because these laws get passed, but because the judges have certain rulings that are so in favor of this leftist ideology that it makes any attempt to hold them accountable just poisonous immediately. I mean, the best example of this, okay, once again, going back to the trucker convoy, Tamara Lich had the longest trial for mischief in Canadian history. It lasted, like, I think at least a year and then some. It was crazy. She was in holding that whole time, and then when she was released for towards the end, she was placed under house arrest. For what? The government literally, like, when they enacted the Emergencies Act, that was deemed illegal twice by the higher courts. Twice. Okay? The government hasn't said shit about it. Not Carney. Nobody. None of these people care. 2 of them have already left their post. You know, Chrystia Freeland just left, I don't know, not even a month ago to work in Ukraine all of a sudden. And had another one leave today. I think it was the Minister of Transportation, but I could be wrong. Is it Bill Blair? No. Is it actually? Yeah, it is. Yeah, Bill Blair. He's moving on to the UK. Also helped enact the Emergencies Act. Helped defend it openly in Parliament. These people are just leaving their fucking jobs. And regular, average, everyday citizens that want to openly disagree with their government and put the pressure on them, right? They're not harming. They weren't destroying property. They weren't Molotoving businesses. They weren't rioting. They weren't even like putting gas cans like the fucking Palestinian protesters do. You know, they weren't marching through the streets with banners, stopping car traffic and praying. They're not doing any of that. They're sitting in a square in minus 20 to 30 degree weather. Some people came from across the country, and the way that they get treated is how you treat enemies of the state? Really? We let Palestinian protesters walk around and threaten Jewish neighborhoods? And I don't even give a shit. Like, the conflict has nothing to do with it. We can't let people just walk around and openly protest like that. That's not protest. You're literally just harassing people. You're a giant mob of whipped up people chanting slogans. You have megaphones. God knows who's in the crowd. Half of you are masked up. Like, that's not a fucking protest. That's a roving gang of people, with all due respect. And once again, not even considering the conflict or struggle, just over the weekend, like 150,000 or something like that people showed up to protest for Iran in the middle of Toronto. Not a single police incident. Nothing. Which, once again, I don't want Canada involved in that conflict at all, and that has nothing to do with it. It's the fact that these people, they just get away with that, but the truckers, when they actually protest something that affects everyone's lives in Canada, when they're actually trying to stand up for the ideals of freedom, they get fucked over, their banks get taken away, bank accounts rather. Right? So all these things, right, these judges, this entire process, we need to keep track of it. We need to have a list of names so that when we get in power, we can say, all right, they're fired. Anyone that they appointed with, they're fired. Whatever connections they have to leftism needs to be removed. It needs to be cut out and needs to be removed from greater society. And I know that you can't kill an idea, and that's not the whole point of this. Okay, I've seen V for Vendetta. We've all seen it. You can't kill an idea. It's bulletproof. Yes, but we have to make it so unpopular that it is just as unpopular as they're trying to make Nazism. And that's obviously not in defense of it. I'm just saying, like, that's the label that they use to silence you, right? To demean you, to immediately just ostracize you from everyone. They call you a Nazi. We need to take that same energy and approach it to leftism. So that's what this list is for. The deport list, this is going to be full of people that are like written in the news. So I'm not doxing anybody. Their crimes and everything, like it's open there. That's why I add the source, right? And it's to get these people out of the fucking country. Because the one story that I covered not too many episodes ago, there's a man that's been in Canada for I think 8+ years. He was in possession of child porn, showed it to his wife, who didn't think anything of it, and his defense was, it's normal to do that in my country. This is a normal practice. Even if it is, right? Even if it fucking is, that's not how we do things in Canada. Like, what are you on? We can't have just somebody that does that and lives in our country, one way or another. Like, you can't have that in your society. We can't tolerate that. That's insane. We draw the line there. There's a reason why child molesters get killed in prison. They're the lowest of the low. And this guy had kids too. How fucked up is that? Insane. So, and this guy is still in Canada to this day. And I bet you I will find this story, because for those that are watching this for the first time and don't believe me, Look at that, December 17th. Not even a fucking year, sorry, not even a fucking month ago. Barely a month and a half ago. An immigration discount helped him stay in Canada. Wow. Like, these are the kind of people we want to tolerate? No. So we're coming up with a list of people to deport. Okay, as soon as we have the political will and power to do this, because they need to fucking go. If you're killing, assaulting, robbing, stealing, if you're doing any crime, committing any level of crime, and you're not a citizen, with all due respect, get the fuck out. We need to get rid of these people. It's insane. There was literally just a story the other day where a man, I think it was, let me see if I can find it. I believe it was on CP24. There was a man that was convicted. Okay, first of all, this one. 48 vehicle break-ins across Mississauga. Gee, I wonder what his name is. Basil Assad. Like, what the fuck, man? We can't just allow this. This is crazy. But I guess the story that I was looking for, I wonder if CP24 still has it. Because it was on the next level. This guy got convicted of a sexual offense, and not even within, like, 48 hours, got out and immediately commit another one. Like, we're letting these people roam the streets and we're not dealing with them? What the actual fuck are we talking about? Right, so that's just a more dialogue on crime, but the deport list, this is going to have, like, actual, like, you're committing grave crimes and you don't deserve to be in this country. Because there's a lot of them. There are a lot of them. I've said this before, the CBSA, the Canada Border Services Agency, the agency that's responsible for looking out for the border and deportations and all that. Okay, they just had an investigation where they were found, they had 249 cases of misconduct. Okay, they're not above board. The RCMP just had a scandal too. I think they had like 400 cases or something like that. I believe because they have a larger unit. Well, no, they definitely have a larger unit, but yeah, over 400 RCMP members accused of misconduct. And what does that mean? Does that mean that you're sharing information? Does, like, you know what? This thing isn't even a page long. Over a 12% increase over the previous year. Oh my fucking God. Insane. So yeah, we need this list. We need this list because our agencies are not prepared to deal with this. So this is an open source list. If you want to contribute to it, you have to comment below on the post. Tell me, like, what page to add it to. The link is there for people to view it, but they can't edit it because I don't want to just open it up to the crowd. But in any case, this is what the list is for. And just for, you know, example of things that we're keeping track of, there was a recent, not even a case, but a memo where effective January 26th, so this is already passed, right? This memo told staff to delete in-house messages every 15 days. Every 2 weeks, all the messages and internal communications that would otherwise be, I don't know, subpoenaed or somehow discovered in a lawsuit are now going to be wiped. Now, my question is, what could possibly be the rationale for this? Right? What could actually just be the possible rationale? And here's the memo. As part of our commitment to effective information management and compliance with Government of Canada policies, we are implementing new business rules for content retention in Microsoft Teams and Outlook. Teams channels, message deleted after 1 year. Teams chats, messages deleted after 15 days. Currently deleted after 30 days, so they went down by half. Giving people less time to file freedom of information requests and to know what the correspondences are. Emails permanently deleted after 30 days in a deleted items folder. Did we vote for this? Did we all have a moment to decide, hey, maybe we should have the government keep a tighter record of what people say to each other? What, like, you're working on the public dime. I'm out here fucking working, motherfucker, and so are the rest of us. And this is what they do? This is like, are you serious? Even messages at my workplace don't have this policy. Even emails at my place don't have this kind of policy. And the job that I work for, the place that I work for, there's a legal framework that requires keeping of records. Let me just put it that way. Right? That's part of our job. We have shit from decades ago. Because we're responsible for providing a service to people. But this government, what, they don't fucking give a shit? Are you serious? How hard is it to keep messages? Well, you're telling me you guys are running out of space? What possible excuse could they have? Oh, in compliance with Government of Canada policies, why is this a policy? Who voted for this? Who enacted this? How can you just do this with a memo? This is insane. Like, this should have been getting news the entire day. Hey, by the way, the government, you know, the people that run the beer store, the liquor store, people that run the DMV, right, that give our checks, that are saying, hey, groceries are tight, right? The price of groceries is tight, so we're going to give you back some money. Like, these people responsible for all these different benefits for the medical system, the education system, all these different systems. Now the feds can just be like, oh, well, we're just not going to tell you what's going on. We're just not going to be transparent. Which, no shit, like, governments are obviously going to do that. They want to be very insular, protect themselves. I understand that. I'm not ignorant to that. Right, to government secrecy and that idea. I get it. But every 15 days, are you fucking kidding me? Every 2 weeks. That's not even, that's like, what, 2 news cycles? Not even? Insane. Insane. So yeah, this is going on the list. This is going on the fucking list. And this is real because, like, this is an actual memo. This is a photograph of one of the workers that thankfully leaked this, because this is insane. How else would we know otherwise? This got no coverage. None. And it's by an account called Blacklock's Reporter. Highly recommend you guys follow them if you want to keep track of what's happening in the Canadian government, because, my God, like, nobody does it like them. Insane. Insane. Yeah, they just get to do this. So yeah, this is a policy that's going on a list. And then there was also this, which I'm not a fan of at all. For Black History Month, they decided to raise the flag of, like, the Pan-African flag, I guess, for all the African countries. I guess their continent has a flag. Like, okay, cool. What does that have to do with policing? Last time I checked, we're not in Africa. So why the fuck are we raising another nation's flag? Is this the UN? Is this outside the UN? Did they move? Did they move to York region? Is this what happened? The fuck are we talking about? There should be no other flags besides the nation or the city or the province where you're from. Those should be the only flags that are flying. Like, that is, do not underestimate that, right? This is something I'm going to talk about when I talk about the left as well. But symbols have power. Okay, when you take a cultural force, right, the item, the idea of a flag, and you tie it to something that is, like, adjacent to it or in the spirit of it, but it's actually not that, you're co-opting that idea. You're linking it. You're saying that this is, the flag of Canada is just as important to have the Pan-African flag. The flag of Canada is just as important as the gay flag, and so on and so forth, when they're not. These things are not the same. Gays are a minority. Africans are a minority. We live in Canada. We are a united nation. We're not just tribal groups representing our own nations from where we're actually from, you know, because we all immigrated. Like, that's not the fucking plan. No. You land in Canada, you're Canadian. You root for the home team. What the fuck is this? What, are all Canadians gay, so we fly the pride flag at the same height as the Canadian flag? Like, these things do matter. I'm not just crashing out. This does matter. Because it goes exactly in the direction of the boiling frog theory. right? Or the boiling frog idea. This idea that, I don't know if it's an actual experiment that happened, but it's this idea that like a frog will continually adapt to its temperature, right? As long as you increment it ever so slightly by a single degree every couple minutes, it's not even going to notice that it's boiling. This is the exact same fucking thing. Okay, when we're overloaded with symbols, when we encounter this kind of thing in our daily lives repeatedly, it means something. Right? This isn't just, oh, the fucking woke left. No. This isn't some boomer shit. When you see an idea like this represented in multiple avenues of your life all at once, that's a message that's being sent. Right? That's a people independently collaborating and coming to this conclusion. And I guess independently collaborating is an oxymoron, but they're independently coming to the same conclusion, but it's not a unifying one where people are considered a nation. It's more dividing them into their own insular groups. It's recognizing their own personal identity and somehow placing it above everyone else. That's what it essentially comes down to. My issues matter because of such and such strife. Therefore, I deserve, like, this fucking victim mentality that is brought to it. Oh my God, the gays were oppressed a century ago. Yeah, no shit. That was the time when they lived in. Right? And we have still people to this day that think that gays and trans are being hunted down by the straightness of North America. Like, what the fuck are you on about? This is the most accepting country. Canada. Literally the most accepting country. Our top show right now is about gay hockey players. How much more messaging do we need? How much more of these symbols do we need? I mean, it's getting to a point where now it's not, it was never even about, right, pushing for actual social change. Because what the fuck does this do? What the fuck does raising a flag? Oh, whoop-de-doo, you raised a flag. Cool. Half the people passing by don't even know what the fuck that is. Like, why are you putting on the same footing as celebrating the country that we live in? It is not the same thing. It really isn't. Because they're not Pan-Africans living in Canada. They're Canadians. You either mesh with the tribe or you get the fuck out. It's as simple as that. If you're not Team Canada all the way and your loyalty is completely to Canada, not some other subset of ideas that you belong to some other community, no, you belong to Canada. That's the social contract. That's what we all agree to. All this splintering of different factions, whether it's across racial lines or sexual lines, like, dude, what the fuck are we talking about? Do we not have a country? Are we not united? What is this? And look, some people may think, oh, you're reading too much into it. It's a flag. This isn't about the flag. This is about the fact that now for an entire month, we're going to be hearing nonstop about Black History Month and Black greatness and the strife they suffer. Give me a fucking break. We've all seen body cam footage. Okay? The one good thing to come out of BLM, sadly, it took that for this to come out, but the use of body cams have been so vindicating for what people have been saying for years. But they've been drowned out because no, the officer targeted this person. They put the gun to their head. They executed them. And then we get body cams and we realize, oh, half these incidents are not even half, more than half, are these people reaching for a weapon or not complying or freaking out or trying to attack the cops. And then they die. Right? That's the result of BLM. They tried to defund the police and they pushed all this social messaging out, the DEI, like all this stuff. And what we got as a result of it was a good dose of truth. That Ukrainian girl, Irina Sutskova, or whatever her last name is, that died in North Carolina because she was just sitting there on her phone on her way, like, home on public transit, and she gets stabbed in the neck. Wow. That's great. That's great that we have to share a society with these people. That's fucking awesome. So, like, spare me this messaging. Oh, Black History Month, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Fuck right off. All of it is fake. They're trying to send a message. And this has nothing to do with policing. right? I'll just make this point and I'll get into the Black History Month stuff even more. But this has nothing to do with policing. Absolutely nothing. Are you representing the neighborhood? Are you representing the community? Or are you representing Pan-Africanism? Is that going to affect your police work? Are you going to approach it with a different lens if you believe in this kind of stuff? I think you do. I think you do see the world through a very different lens. And I don't want that lens near the people that have the guns. I really don't. I really do not. So anyways, that's why we're keeping the list, because policies like that need to be remade. And I'm not saying telling people, like, oh, legally you can only fly the Canadian flag. No. But this has to be stamped out on official government buildings, police stations, schools, what have you. This needs to be stamped out nationwide. We can't allow for that. We cannot. It's Canada first. That's the mission. It's Canada first. So without further ado, let's get into Black History Month. Yeah, why the fuck are we still celebrating this? It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. Like, why are we still perpetuating this? Who is actually benefiting? I mean, realistically, like, who is actually benefiting? BLM, as I was saying, completely shattered people's expectations for what a civil rights movement would be in the 21st century. And I mean, my God, what a fucking shit show. What an absolute shit show. All those people rioting, the people that got killed as a result of all of it, the injuries, the loss of businesses, Black-owned businesses. Entire neighborhoods just gone up in smoke. For what? What did they achieve? Did they fix the inner city? Did they actually make any meaningful change? Didn't look like it. And all that because what? All of this just traces back because slavery happened? Like, slavery is just, it's a unique experience amongst African Americans? Like, what the fuck? Every continent has had slaves. The natives had slaves. Everybody's had slaves. It's a part of history. It's what humans do. We enslave one another, and then eventually we wisened up to it. And guess who was the first country to not only wisen up to that fact, but to actively work to rid the world of slavery? It was England. England stepped up to the plate and said, we'll take it on ourselves to deal with the problem that we've caused. That came from Enlightenment ideals and principles. Maybe not Enlightenment, but just Christianity in general, right? Religion is what was the founding framework, or one of the founding frameworks for this society. And it in part induced them to make that change. I mean, that's not nothing. You know, they could have just kept going. Like, they could have just kept going and expanded it and dominated the world completely. I mean, they did in a lot of ways at one point. You know, the sun never set on the British Empire. But I mean, they could have gone even harder on the slave trade. So with all due respect, slavery is, I don't give a shit. I have no fucking sympathy for that defense. And I don't mean just for rioting. I mean, like, for celebrating and commemorating Black History Month. Shut the fuck up. Slavery, dude, 200 years ago. You know, I'm ethnically Russian. You know what was happening in Russia 200 years ago? How badly people were treated? Like, don't get me started. Or even other parts of the world, like, my God. So this is not a unique experience. You know, the Japanese got nuked twice. Their entire, like, their cultural and business hubs bombed. Millions of people died. Not just from the initial shock, But all the after effects, they had to rebuild their society. They had to bend the knee to the United States, and they came back. I mean, Jesus, they dominated, absolutely dominated the world economy at a point. My God, like those people were able to come back for something so great. They were interned in both Canada and America. They were held in prison camps on the suspicion that they were working for Japan. Canada did this too. I remember learning about it in fucking grade school. And you don't hear a peep. You don't hear anything from the average Japanese person on that. They're not going on TikTok and complaining about how life is so hard. They're not doing that. They're not doing that because their culture and their background, they have certain ideals. They have certain ideas on morality, on honor, that they think are right. And so that changes their behavior. That's why I always see the Japanese fans picking up after themselves when they go to a sporting tournament or sporting event, rather. Why do you think that is? Do you think that's just because, oh, what a coincidence. All of the nice people in Japan were at this game. No, they're all like that. That's what the Japanese are. And we love them for it. Excuse me, throat was kind of dry. Yeah, where's the Japanese month? Where's the Armenian History Month for their genocide? Where's the Jewish History Month for that matter? I mean, Jewish History Month is year round. You'll hear about the you'll hear about the Holocaust every day, but the point is, like, there's so many groups that have had generational strife follow them for decades and centuries. Not like the Jews, they're unique in that, but like, with all due respect, fuck off. My God. It's just, I'm tired of seeing that as an excuse. The reason that black people are where they are today is because of slavery. No, it's not. No, it really isn't. It stopped being about that about 100 years ago. Not even. With all due respect, it's not that. It really isn't. And for anyone screaming at the screen, yeah, no shit. I know that slavery affected the African American experience in America, right? If I can call it that. Yeah, no shit. I understand cause and effect. I know history. I get it. I'm not ignoring that. But at this point, in the 21st century, knowing what we know about the last modern civil rights movement, nobody has their eye on the ball. Nobody's actually calling it for what it is. And that there's a subset of the population that is extremely violent or prone to violence. And we just put up with it. We put up with these fucking shit neighborhoods. You can't walk into safely at night in your own city. You go to a place, I mean, fuck, what was it? That cruise line. There was a cruise line that had to ban the use of Bluetooth speakers because black people kept going on these cruises and just blaring their own music, partying it up, and it ruined the experience for everyone else. Yeah, no shit. And once again, to anyone screaming at the screen, yeah, of course it's not all of them. No shit. Like I've said many times before, I grew up in an immigrant community where it was multicolored. Okay, it was a fucking box of crayons. Okay, you had it was that shitty one though with the skin tones. But they luckily, for the most part, came from decent family homes where honor and integrity, like, these were principles. You could just see it in the way that they acted. They weren't punks. They weren't assholes. They weren't out to fuck with you. On occasion, you'd meet them, but of the friends that I was lucky enough to have and the classmates that I had, nobody was like a dick like that. It was very few. So I know for a fact It's like this doesn't come from like me trying to paint an entire race of people with a broad stroke. No shit. Of course, there's outliers. No shit. But on average, it's not looking good. It really is not looking good. Especially with the reaction to George Floyd. My fucking God, Derek Chauvin got crucified. The man has like lost his life. He was stabbed like 17 times at one point in prison. I mean, for anyone that actually watched the trial and not just the highlights from CNN and Fox and all, like, you'll actually know what I'm talking about because that whole thing was fucked from the start. You know, but before I go even further into this Black History Month thing, I just want to say this is a fact of record. The dealer that was in George Floyd's car at the time refused to testify about anything that went down in the car before the interaction. Just straight up. And also, little known fact, BLM has not paid a dime to the people that were George Floyd's roommates. Like he left his car there, and they both worked two jobs that are, you know, trying to make ends meet. Not living in a halfway house, but they weren't living in great conditions. There's interviews with them where they talk like, yeah, we haven't heard a peep from anyone. Like there's a bunch of his stuff here. Nobody's come for it. Because we lived with him, we expected him to pay rent, and now like we're down money and we're having a difficult time finding a roommate because everyone knows that we lived with George Floyd. You know? Nobody from BLM even reached out to them, like they're just holding the tab. Yeah, these people don't give a shit. That wasn't an actual movement on what they said it was. I mean, you had that congressperson, I forget her name. It was that old black congressperson that was saying, if this trial doesn't go the way that we want it to, we riot. We're going to let them know. And let me fact check that. Hold on. Which black congresswoman said people should riot if Derek Chauvin goes free? I remember though there was she made a live statement in front of the House. Yeah, here it is. Representative Maxine Waters, quote, "We've got to stay on the street and we've got to get more active. We've got to get more confrontational. We've got to make sure that they know that we mean business." Hey, does that sound like incitement of a riot? It sounds like you're saying if the law doesn't bend to our will because we say it should, we're going to riot. We're going to get more confrontational. More confrontational than you already were after the death. Like months, if not years later, when this trial actually happens, you're now threatening even more confrontation after a riot that has never been seen on that scale before, nationwide in American history, probably ever. You're saying you need to get more confrontational? Yeah, I'm starting to think that this whole Black History Month shit is actually fucking bullshit. If that's your take on the situation, that you need to riot even more, that you need to cause even more damage, this is insane. How the fuck is she still in office? You know, they say Trump encouraged people on January 6th. He told people to go away, to stop, to be peaceful, to march in the street, but don't like go to the Capitol or any of these buildings. Do not go inside. He openly said that multiple times. And they also have records of Trump saying we need to get more Capitol Police, and his request was denied. Like those are two stark differences of leaders talking about this kind of dynamic. She's actually encouraging it. And if Trump was the Hitler that they actually put him out to be, isn't that when he says, "Oh yeah, we need to invade the Capitol. You need to seize these people"? I mean, wouldn't an actual like Hitler-like figure say straight up, "Hey, I'll back you up. I'll get the army involved. We'll overturn the election"? If that was ever a time right? They keep calling Trump Hitler. God, fucking retarded. If there was ever a time for Hitler to do that, that would have been the time. Okay? And so when Black Lives Matter does this kind of thing where they actually do what they say Trump is doing, like actually inciting violence, that just makes me think, oh, you're not a serious people. You're not actually interested in a dialogue, an exchange of ideas, a coalition of people working together to solve an issue. No, no, no. You just want to riot. You just want to riot. And look, with all due respect, with slavery, cotton picking doesn't look that hard. It really doesn't look that hard. I mean, look at this. Really? Like that's what they're complaining about? Come on. Look at that. That's so easy. You could do it one-handed. And you know, some of them are more adept to it than others. Like the classic Serena Williams. I mean, why would you do this? This is so, like, why would you think that this is a good idea? Not only to film your outrage of a fucking cotton plant, but then also to pick it. Why would you pick it? You realize that's literally just going to cause even more racism thrown your way. I mean, the comments are going to be brutal. Serena needs to chill out. I see she couldn't resist picking it. I mean, dude, like, what the fuck did you expect? Insane, right? This is how these people think. This is what I mean by the leftist ideology. Like, she actually convinced herself that this is a good look for her. This is a woman that has brand deals. She has name recognition. She's a household name. I don't know if she's still playing, but nonetheless, it's like, why? Like, how self-righteous do you think you are that you would think that you come in the right after doing this? You're calling them racist? These fucking people find racism on every corner. Insane. And you know what I mean when I say these fucking people? I mean the people that believe in this. The blacks and the whites, because geez, like this fucking mentality, I can't stand it. Insane. Insane. Oh, the best one? Oh my god, this is my favorite. This is my favorite. They got clowned so fucking hard for this. So Minecraft had an update. For those that haven't played Minecraft since the 2010s, or whenever it came out, dude, they had an update for civil rights leaders. You could walk with civil rights leaders in Minecraft. Okay. How tone deaf do you have to be? Holy shit, they're villagers. Oh my god. And fucking Malala's in it. Frozen. Make good trouble. Yeah, you'll notice that they locked the fucking comments. They locked the comments. Why do you think that is? Because I'm pretty sure, what is the top retweet of this? This was insane. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. This one ratioed the original post from Minecraft. This is just diabolical. Holy shit. He's dribbling a pumpkin. Oh my god. I mean, yeah, what do you expect? It's the fucking internet, man. It's the internet. What do you think they're gonna do with this? Why would you think this is a good idea? You know, this is what I meant by symbols, right? That flag, it's in the same breath as this. The same kind of mentality. The same idea that, oh, we need to recognize this time, this moment, with this kind of significance. Like, they're forcing a message on us. It's not natural. We think that this is normal because this has happened since we've, you know, been growing up. Ever since we were kids, we were told about this in school. But realistically, like, this needs to get wiped out. Black History Month needs to be deleted. It needs to be removed completely. No more. We're not celebrating this. Are you fucking kidding me? What is this? Protesting in a fucking video game? There's stores and businesses that are having entire promotions on this. It's becoming like Valentine's Day. It's lost its meaning completely. If you can play it in a video game, dude, it's one thing to like teach this in schools. Maybe, there's something that people are learning about 20th century history in North America regarding, civic norms and all that. Yeah, there's a point to be made there, learning about protest movements. I understand that. But having a month where you just promote it like this, and it's done in the cheapest way possible. A fucking Minecraft video game? Are you serious? That's the most disingenuous thing they could have done. The company Minecraft could have taken some money that it had and just donated to a charity or donated to some inner city schools or what have you. Instead, they're just trying to further their brand by appearing woke? The fuck is this shit? This is straight up retarded. It's not educational in the slightest. It's using past civil rights movements to justify modern protests. Every lesson at the end is more encouragement to protest in the modern day for rights, which the game never states what exactly these rights are. Wow, what a great message to the kids. However, there's still more work to be done. They may have paved the way, but now it's up to us to continue their work, to honor their sacrifices, to make our own good trouble. The fuck are you? You want a riot? You want more riots? Is that what good trouble is? Are you serious? Dude, they burned entire areas of cities to the fucking ground. They literally annihilated entire legacies worth of investment in time and blood and sweat and tears. How many people died as a result of this whole thing? Like, Jesus fucking Christ, the whole country set itself on fire, and then the rest of the world followed. They were tearing down statues, erasing history by force. Dude, that's a color revolution. That's not a protest. This isn't a civil rights movement. They're just destroying everything. And it's getting egged on by the news. That CNN headline, fiery but peaceful? What are we talking about? We can't share society with these people. We can't share society with a group that says, oh, we don't like something, so we're going to riot. We believe in a false retelling of this nation's history, and we're going to riot. Are you fucking kidding me? What freedoms are they fighting for? What rights do black people not have that white people do? Are we did we not just pass the Civil Rights Act not 100 years ago? Are we not like, didn't you get what you wanted? Wasn't the mission accomplished? Nope. They decided to take a handful of incidents, blow them up, right? Blow them up completely out of proportion, use absolutely awful people as their leaders. I mean, one thing that you can argue, at least about the civil rights movement right back then, one thing you got to give them props for, they knew messaging. They understood the idea and the power of a message. Rosa Parks wasn't, fun fact, Rosa Parks wasn't the first woman that they chose. They initially chose another woman who had an incident like that, but because she was pregnant and the father was absent, they didn't use her. Not to mention, Rosa Parks' husband had a car. They used her as an instrument, because back then you could just get away with that. Nobody knew who fucking Rosa Parks was until they put her name in the news. What, her neighbors? These people in the movement? I mean, how big was your network back then if you're just an average everyday person? Jesus Christ, like, they knew messaging. They understood the power of it. This BLM shit, they're just forcing it everywhere. Remember when all those athletes kneeled and had things on their back written like hope and freedom and dignity, like all these words. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? What? Why are athletes getting involved in this? It was completely fake. It didn't do anything. At least the civil rights movement, like they had a bill that they fought for. They achieved something. What did BLM achieve? Defund the police? They got rid of police in neighborhoods, and guess what happened immediately afterwards? Crime fucking skyrocketed. Wow, what a surprise. You get rid of the police and the crime skyrockets. Holy shit, who could have figured that out? Insane. And then the moment that the police get body cams, because all the BLM people were, yeah, we need body cams, we need body cams, we need to see it. That has been the greatest gift. Easily. That has easily been the greatest gift to just embarrassing the entire civil rights movement. Like, completely. Is the fact that we now can see what happens in these interactions. The fact that we can actually see exactly what happens frame by frame. And the overwhelming majority of it is not good. It does not shine the light that the movement has been trying to on all of these events. I mean, insane. It's nothing short of insane what we allowed to happen. Right? Cities in America burned for weeks. Politicians kneeled. We don't even kneel for kings anymore, and they kneeled for this. Everyone took a collective knee. Okay, that's not normal. You're pledging fealty to something. Okay, there's a reason. There's a reason why people used to do that when they approached the king. Right? All these mannerisms and handshakes and movements that people had back then, all these different acts of social decorum, it was to show that you're pledging fealty. To take a knee for something, that is huge. People take a knee like in moments where honor and integrity, where submitting yourself to an idea matters. And our politicians kneeled for this shit? Are you fucking kidding me? For the burning of cities, for all this, they supported that? There was an independent zone set up in Seattle, the Chaz Chop Zone. Okay? There was an independent zone set up where emergency services were barred. So no cops, no EMS, no medics, nothing. People were raped. They had their stuff stolen. There was a kid that died, this black kid that died in an incident in there, and the father sued the city. I think they just recently won the lawsuit too. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, family of teen shot killed in Chop Zone files claim against Seattle. That was in 2022. Here it is. Seattle found liable in teen's death during 2020 Chaz chaos. Jury awards family over $30 million. Yeah, because the city gave in. They let these people take over. And then guess what? In all of these fucking communes, whenever these people get together, some shit is going to go down. Because their ideology is what kills them. I mean, have you guys ever seen that video of that leftist walking up to homeless people being like, look, I know one of you took my phone. I really need it. You know, I appreciate your struggle. I understand what you're going through, but that's not fucking cool. That's my property, right? Now they have some right-wing ideals. Now they realize, oh, this is a problem. We can't just behave like this, but they're still approaching it from their leftist perspective. Yeah, that's what BLM is. And they allowed people, the city allowed people to set them up an autonomous zone. And my God, this thing was just absolutely exactly what you'd expect, honestly. A bunch of posters, some shitty tents, prayer circles, or whatever the fuck that is. Cardboard and concrete barriers. Dude, they built like a homeless shelter. With people like standing at the entrance with rifles. oh yeah, man, it's just it's like a commune, man. We all just share stuff, man. Yeah, tell that to the women that were raped. Nice garden. Nice. Yeah, solid work. Wow, people intense. I wonder how long that's gonna last. It didn't last very long. But they were still allowed to do this. They took over a precinct. This is wild shit. This is wild shit. This is what BLM leads to. This is what Black History Month leads to. Absolutely. It's the frog in the boiling water. It's the exact same thing. Oh, we'll delegate this as a month, and we'll just talk about it and celebrate it and talk about all these different things. Like, instead of incorporating this into a curriculum, not having it as a separate thing, but saying, okay, in social studies we're going to learn about the civil rights movement, right? Or maybe about slavery and history. Like, instead of breaking it down like that, no. Schools have to have a whole month where they go over this shit, and a whole society just has to grin and bear it. And this is what these people do. This is what the people that believe in Black History Month do. They take over city squares. They riot. These people do not share our ideals for greater society. They do not. Okay? They do not. If you disagree with them, you are a racist. You are ostracized. You're a Nazi. They will dox you. They will do everything to ruin you. And we're tolerating it. And we're tolerating it. I mean, for fuck's sake, for anyone that doesn't know, this isn't even like a right-wing talking point. BLM, they admitted themselves that they're Marxists. They understand the power of a color revolution. They understand the significance of what they did. They were clever. Right? I'll give them that. You got to give the devil his due. They were fucking clever. With the way that they went about it, the kind of people they chose, their social media strategy, the donation campaign, they got so much money from people that they were buying properties, right? Because that's what they did. That's what essentially undid, rather. Fucking grammar. That's what essentially undid BLM, was their own greed. Using people's donated money, instead of reinvesting it back into the neighborhood, right? Reinvesting it back into the people that they stand behind, right? As they push them into the fucking meat grinder, because that's what these people do. Instead of actually standing behind them and helping them, they decided, nah, fuck it, I'm going to enrich myself to the tune of millions and have multiple properties in different states. The BLM chapter here in Canada, in Toronto, they bought the ex-headquarters of the fucking Communist Party. Okay, if that doesn't tell you everything about them, I don't know what will. And these are all verifiable things. A quick Brave search. Wow, look at that. Black Lives Matter transferred millions to Canadian charity run by the wife of co-founder Patrice Cullors to buy Toronto mansion formerly owned by the Communist Party. I'm vindicated. Look at that. A whole story. Tons of them, actually. Many of them. $8 million mansion. That's what they did with that money. That's what they did with that George Floyd money. Right? That's why I don't give a shit. I'm tired. I have Black History Month fatigue. I have black fatigue, but also, more importantly, Black History Month fatigue. I am tired of hearing about this. I'm tired of being told that I have to give a shit, and I think a lot of other people are. Because that Minecraft thing, that is just the clear signal. Right? A clear signal. People don't give a fuck anymore, and they will laugh at you if you try to seriously approach them with this. Get the fuck out of my face. Anybody that unironically still believes that this is a good thing and we need to commemorate it every year, they need to be othered. And by that, I don't mean violence upon them. What I mean is they need to be seen in the same light as a form of cancer on society. because that kind of ideology, it kills itself from within. I mean, all those cities looted, all those cities rampaged, all those millions upon millions of dollars worth of people's hard-earned property, their cars, their businesses, what have you. All of that gone, and who's to blame? Who's to blame? Is there anybody, any one person that they can charge with a crime for this? No, they got away with it. All that damage, all those hours of police having to deal with this, how much overtime those people were paid? Holy fuck, that's a societal cost to the tune of billions. That was completely unnecessary. There's a legal process to this. These cases, they go to court. No, they decided to fucking chimp out across the entirety of America, and then it went up here in Canada too. History destroyed. Statues were taken down. Names of institutions were changed. Streets were changed. That's a change in history. These symbols matter. When the street that you grew up on is no longer called by that thing, you're alienated from it. It's something else. That history gets wiped out. If you're lucky, it has a Wikipedia entry. And even then, that could be wiped out. Unless somebody writes a book about it. But that thing that you lived in at some point, now it is no longer that thing. It goes by a different name. That's important. Changing history and historical monuments and names just because you think that it's somehow offensive is insane. Why would you wipe history? See, the beautiful thing about history, this is why I've always loved it as a subject. The beautiful thing about history is that at one point, people lived through it. They lived through Nazi Germany. They lived through communist Russia. They lived through all these different eras. And the way in which they saw them changed as the decades went on. But the meaning was always different. People see Nazi Germany in a much different light today than they did in the 40s, depending on where they were in the world. Right? That's how history works. We get more information. We get more knowledge. A more informed opinion. Somebody releases an analysis. What have you. Or our society's culture change. That's the beautiful thing about it. Is that through every era, it's viewed through a different lens. And the ability of human beings to step back and acknowledge that and understand that that thing happened, that awful thing happened, but this is worth remembering. Right? All this talk about never again and all that's why the Jews, they build monuments to this. Right? That's why they memorialize that, because messaging like that matters. It signals what your cultural ideals are. It signals what you're about, who you are, the things you went through, the sacrifices that were made. These things matter. That's why when 9/11 was rebuilt, they made it into a monument. They didn't just put up the towers again. I mean, they did, but at the same time, like what I'm getting at is they had to build the monument because those things matter. Those monuments need to stay up. We need to remember our history, what we overcame, what our ancestors overcame. And dismissing them just because they're inconvenient, they make you feel a little weird. Okay. Yeah, I bet the Japanese feel a certain way driving by a nuclear power plant. You don't see them complaining. Or I guess the Ukrainians more so with Chernobyl, but it's not a fucking contest. So these people quite literally, they erased history. That's what BLM did. All those statues that were turned down, everything. The names of schools. Just because they didn't like the history. They thought that it was uniquely evil, which once again, the African American slave experience is not a unique experience. Every country had slaves. Every peoples had slaves. Every peoples at some point went through some kind of struggle. You don't hear the Ukrainians whining about the Soviet famine. It happened less than 100 years ago. Millions of people were wiped out. They're not out here in the streets. Or even in Russia, they're not out in the streets. And a lot of Ukrainians do live in Russia. Like, this is not the way to react to something that you say is so foundational to your memory. Going out and rioting and destroying people's lives and painting anyone that went against that as somehow evil. No, see, we can't have that mentality. That's why I'm making this grand point about Black History Month, because this is the month where we remember all that. This is the month where we reflect on that. And I'm really not liking what the last chapter of this civil rights movement has to say about the whole idea of commemorating this whole fucking thing. With all due respect, I don't really have a lot of faith in that idea anymore. I don't think a lot of other people do either. I mean, just some more consequences about this hysteria, okay? There were entire districts in America, right? To appease Black Lives Matter and to appease all these people that believe in this, they changed the grading systems in schools because Black students weren't keeping up. How racist is that? You know, all these people that are pushing for these racial equality, like all these different things, right? The Blacks, they need these supports. So they're not smart enough to figure out for themselves how to study better? It's the white man that's keeping them down? What is it about a test that you're writing that makes it specifically racially targeted? Right? Because there was also that case in New York where all those teachers, they kept failing the tests. They kept failing the test required to actually get your teacher certification. And enough of them failed. No, I think this one man failed like 7 or 9 times. And he's like, oh, because the test is racist. And he won in court. And then when they did the interview, famously, when they did the interview of him, he had the smoke alarm chirping in the background. I mean, gee, you can't fucking make this up. Insane. Here's a quote. San Leonardo Unified School District, California. By 2025, this Northern California district fully shifted to equitable grading, where grades reflect not only academic knowledge, excluding extra credit, behavior, or deadlines. Oh. It excluded behavior or deadlines. So deadlines, the thing that makes school stressful, that you have to get a test in at a certain time, otherwise you're going to fail, or rather an assignment in, not a test. That just completely got removed. Okay, that's a good idea. The change was motivated by data showing inequities, including lower grades for Black and Latino students. Oh, okay. So instead of raising the bar for everyone by saying, okay, we're gonna maybe invest in some tutors, we're gonna have our teachers get a higher certification, an extra course they got it, like anything to just improve the quality of education. They're like, no. Actually, it's racist that Black people are doing so bad in school that we gotta lower the standards for everyone. Or for Blacks and minorities in general. Okay. So how does that work out in 10, 20 years? Like, do these people not fucking think this through? How does that affect an entire generation of youth if you now tell them, hey, by the way, deadlines are optional? Do you understand what that does to a human mind when you tell them that for years on end, and then they have to go out into the real world and they have to interact? You know, like that's part of the value of the university degree, is that it's not something that automatically infers excellence, right? What it means now is you're able to show up maybe on time, hopefully on time if the prof, counts attendance. You're able to stick with a goal for 4 years at least, or more, right? Depending on your degree. And you can keep a routine. You can you can do things to a standard. You can write to a certain standard. That's the whole point. It gives you a baseline of how to operate in the professional world, right? If we could just break down the definition of university like that. Now imagine what happens. Okay, imagine what happens when now your next oncoming wave of students, a good chunk of them, can't keep deadlines. How do you operate in the world if that's what you believe in? And so what happens then if this school, right, if this school district does this, does that then pressure the colleges to be like, oh, well, a lot of our black applicants, they're struggling. It must be because of racism. We got to lower the bar for everyone. I mean, you're just inviting this cascading effect if you truly believe in this ideology. And look at all these school boards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For Portland Public Schools, Oregon, plans were made in 2024 to implement equitable grading by 2025, including unlimited retakes and no homework penalties. Holy fucking shit. With all due respect, how retarded do you have to be able to take a test infinitely and still get it wrong? And no homework penalties? Are you serious? And so the geniuses that came up with this shit, right? We're supposed to trust that they understand how to fix a racial issue that's been simmering for 200 odd years, that's never really been faced in America. These are the people that are going to guide us on that shining hill. They're going to march with MLK. Really? This is the best they have to offer? Lowering the standards. That's the most racist shit that you could actually do. Instead of looking, like, if you're realistically looking at the black experience, okay, here's what it is. They were taken as slaves, and then they stayed here. Well, guess what? They had a lot of differences, let's just say, compared to the American settlers. Right? If we could just sum that up succinctly. And then they just stayed here. And they lived, and they moved, and they got jobs, and they got positions of influence. But they were never really, like, there was no actual legitimate, not racial reckoning, but just like, hey, this is, we got to make our peace somehow. We're here. We're settled. And we're not going anywhere. And we're a voting bloc. We have influence, so on and so forth. Like, just... Nope, it's just the people still holding on to that fucking grudge. Like, it hasn't been resolved 200 years later. People talk about Israel and Palestine. Jesus Christ, like the absolute hatred that some people still have, even though they're generations removed. Right? And so the people that are supposed to solve that are telling us that we have to lower the grade standards for schools because blacks are failing. Okay. All right. I guess that's how they want to deal with it. Or how about this? Get this one from the Canadian government itself. This is a great one. They announced a grant recently for $70 million in loans to black-owned businesses. What this tells me, right, once again on the flip side, what this tells me is, oh, we believe that blacks can't run businesses as good, so we're going to give them this money because they're struggling in the market. They need support. The black community is uniquely positioned with their current business allocations that they need this influx. This one group specifically. Not the Greeks, not the Chinese, not the Koreans, not the Slovaks. Like, no, just not even the Indians. No. Blacks. Blacks need this money. Otherwise, they can't run business good. That's what this tells me. You're taking a group and you're basically saying, we're giving you this because you need it. So here's my question. This correction in the market, this influx for one single racial group, how is that going to affect the market? Is that going to make it so that, like, better services and better products are available? Or is this just going to inflate it with black-owned businesses that just qualify for these funds so they get to exist? So what about everyone else? Are we not in a cost of living crisis? What the fuck is this shit? Why are you putting one race above everyone else? Because of slavery? That has nothing to do with fucking Canada. Are you kidding me? This is their justification? Because slavery happened down south, we're giving $70 million to this one racial group? Are you, what? Why are my tax dollars going to this? Why are anyone's tax dollars going to this? Why the fuck are we tolerating this? This is insane. This policy also needs to go on the chopping board, honestly. It's crazy. Nothing short of crazy. And here's this one. This is a great fucking headline. Oh my god. Just today. This is a fucking great one. A judge in Canada granted leniency for Toronto crack dealer because of his 9 children and his race. Dude, Hitler couldn't make up these stereotypes. I mean, he couldn't even dream of even saying that in the same sentence. Are you serious? A judge granted leniency to a man who sold crack who also had 9 kids, and because he's black and native. Lloyd Williams pleaded guilty in Ontario's Court of Justice to 3 counts of possession of cocaine for the purpose of trafficking in what Justice Andre Chamberlain described as the deeply troubled neighborhood surrounding the intersection at Dundas and Sherbourne. Williams, who was released after each arrest, twice on bail and 3rd time on the promise he wears a GPS tracking device, also pleaded guilty to 1 count of possession of proceeds of crime over $5,000 and 2 counts for under that amount, and failing to comply with a release order on February the 15th, 2025. A man that by all means should have been behind bars long ago. And they argued that because he has nine children, that he needed to be freed. He states that he provides the support as a father to his children and that any lengthy absence would have a significant impact on their health and well-being. Williams identified as both black and Micmac. Though he couldn't prove the latter, the judge was satisfied Williams had established a connection to indigenous ancestry. Okay, so I guess I'm just self-identifying as black and Indian now. What's up, my wigwams? What's up? Can a nigga get some corn? Maize? Whatever the fuck they ate? Jesus fucking Christ. Like, this is the country that we live in. This is what we accept. Right? But once again, this directly ties to Black History Month. When you elevate a group in society like this, right, when you choose to set aside an entire month, you're saying something. This carries a message, symbolic and otherwise. And if people take you up on your word, this is what's going to happen. It's the exact same shit with the land back shit. All those people saying we live on stolen land, we live on illegal land. Yeah, look at British Columbia now. They're dealing with land claims from indigenous tribes because people kept saying it. People kept having land acknowledgements before meetings and government official, speaking events, what have you. That the natives were like, oh, okay. Well, you say you're on stolen land, so we're going to call you on your bluff. And here's all this evidence. You guys have been investing in all these programs to research this. Like, yeah, absolutely. We're going to call you on your bluff. Exact same thing here. The black people are calling the guilty white liberals bluff. They're saying, yeah, no, I do live in systemic racism. No, I agree with you 100%. And some of them do really believe it. I mean, my God. The amount of stores that closed. I believe this was a Target in Baltimore. Yeah. They literally opened because they were like, oh, we want to give more opportunities to the black people that live here. And they closed. You know why? Too much theft. Too much theft. They just couldn't help themselves. They just kept fucking stealing. Here's another case. Opinion. Retail chains are closing stores. There are better ways to deal with shoplifting. Yeah, I don't... I mean, like I said, these stereotypes couldn't have popped up in Hitler's wettest dreams. My fucking God. Jim Crow's wettest dreams. Insane. Two things can be true at the same time. Businesses say an epidemic of shoplifting is roiling the retail industry, leading them to make tough decisions about the need to close stores in some communities to stem losses. Yeah, because blacks keep stealing shit. Because blacks keep stealing shit. And not just blacks, but the defund the police movement affected everybody. Anybody that was living in a downtown core, you felt it. Why Walmart is closing half its stores in Chicago? Gee, I wonder. I wonder why. And you know, because here's why I'm pointing out why these stores closing is important, right? Because eventually some other business is going to move in, but the moment that a business leaves an area, right? Not relocating because of a, you know, bigger store, better warehouse, what have you, right? They get more customers because of their location. When they move because of a reason like this, they don't come back. They do not come back for years. Because they just made a multi-million-dollar investment, hiring all those people, setting up all the shelves, the products, the maintenance of the store, everything needed to run it. And their shit just kept getting stolen. People in the community just couldn't help themselves. They just kept stealing. So why would they invest in that area again anytime soon? They need to clean up that area first of the crime and then deal with it. Because guess what? As soon as the business leaves, so does the tax revenue. So do the jobs. So do the opportunities. And that community gets even worse. So all these people say, oh, it's just property, it's whatever, the insurance claims, you know, they can get all this back. Like, that was the argument, right? They were making during BLM. Oh, they're just insurance claims, it's no big deal. As if insurance is just going to keep covering theft. Why would they do that? Their whole business model is in not giving people money. That's what their whole business model is based on. Why would an insurance company make it profitable to cover a business that keeps having theft? They're just not going to cover that business, or they're going to put the premiums way higher than the business is comfortable with. So they pull out of the area, and guess what? That whole area just became a lot more poor. Because a bunch of people couldn't fucking stop and help themselves from stealing. Why supermarkets have abandoned some of America's poorest neighborhoods? Gee, I fucking wonder. What a mystery. What a mystery. There was an epidemic of this. There was an absolute epidemic of this. And I saw it in San Francisco at like 6 a.m. I took a trip with some people, and we were going to, you know, an event, like a tourist attraction in the morning. We all woke up, you know, just walked out of our hotel on like a main street, not near Skid Row or any of those areas. Well, Skid Row's in LA, it's not in San Fran. But they have the, oh my God, what's it called? Not the Butcher District. It's something like that. I forget what it is. Let me see if I can find it. San Francisco District. I forget what it's called. Not Mission District, no. Not Nob Hill, not Russian Hill. God, I forget the name. But it's an area that you do not want to walk on. Not an area that you can just be out in the open. There's people literally hunched over. Some of them shitting in the street, puking, lying around, doing drugs, dealers everywhere, smoking weed. It is unavoidable. But we're walking down this nice street in the morning. It's like 6-something a.m. Just pop into a corner store to get something. This guy runs in, gets a water bottle, 2 of them actually, starts walking out. The store dealer, the store manager's like, hey, where the fuck are you going? And he's like, water's a human right. And starts yelling at the guy, and then he walks off. And I saw that happen, and I was like, oh, they just think they run this shit. They actually believe they're untouchable. Like, to do something with that conviction and then get mad at someone And for that to be an epidemic, I mean, dude, stores I went on that street, they had lozenges behind plastic shields. Lozenges. I got a sore throat at one point. I'm going to get lozenges like Ricola or a fucking Halls. And I have to ask a worker to come and get it. Because this is the consequence of BLM. This is the consequence of drinking the Kool-Aid on Black History Month. This is why that shit needs to be cut out from our society this whole month. It needs to be treated like acid. It is completely corrosive to a high-trust society to have this kind of activity, these kind of people that believe these things, that taking police away from areas that need them most is somehow a good thing. Are you fucking kidding me? Because a bunch of black guys got harmed in police interactions of their own volition? George Floyd swallowed more fentanyl than a horse could take. He wasn't complying. And he asked to get let out of the car. Like, so many things in that arrest were just so wrong. If you look at the autopsy report, you can see it for yourself. I mean, these facts are out in the open. Where's that other case? I have a whole list of these cases that are just absolutely fucking ridiculous. Let me see if I can find this. Here it is. Jacob Blake, right? He was a man that was shot 7 times. 7 times in the back by cops. He was wielding a pocket knife, going around his car, and then going to reach inside of his car as police kept yelling at him to drop the knife, and he didn't. If you see a guy, a black guy, that is acting erratically with a knife walking around the car, you're telling him to drop it, and he's not dropping it, and then he goes to reach for something in his car, what do you do as a police officer? I mean, how is that not justified? The guy was even charged with third-degree sexual assault in the same woman's house that he was at during this event. And then Biden fucking calls him. Right before all the facts of the case come out, all of America is once again, oh my God, our second George Floyd hit the tower. He calls him. He calls him and says, my prayers are with you, or something to that effect. We're praying for you. If you're not complying with officers' orders to put the knife down, you forfeit your life. If a man with a gun pointed at you is telling you to put the knife down, you put the fucking knife down. How is this in any way defensible? And here's some more of those cases for those that don't know. A lot of these, like, this is initially what red pilled me. When I started reading the details of some of these cases, and I realized, oh, they just lied to us to sell us a narrative. The same people that are telling me that I need to celebrate Black History Month are telling me that it was actually a lie. Or they're ignoring the fact that it's a lie. It's built on a lie. Michael Brown. Initial media portrayal. Brown, an unarmed black teenager, was depicted as surrendering with hands up, don't shoot. You guys remember that one? He was shot by Officer Darren Wilson. And then, after a Department of Justice investigation, it actually found that Michael Brown attacked the cop. He attacked the cop, reached for his gun, and charged at him. So that whole thing that set off during Obama's time, right, when he was wiping a tear off, talking about black teens getting shot by cops and how it's such a universal experience for so many people. Oh, I thought we were past all this racial strife, but I guess we're not. Still got that devil in us, that whiteness in us. And it was all built on a lie. All of it. And this is just one. Jacob Blake is another. George Floyd is a third. Alton Sterling. Sterling, a black man selling CDs, was pinned down and shot without cause, with media highlighting bystander video and portraying it as excessive force on an unarmed victim. The reality of the story was he resisted arrest after a gun threat report. Somebody called and said, hey, this man that's selling CDs has a gun on me, is showing a gun. He had a loaded one in his pocket, reached for it during the struggle. If you reach for a gun as cops are trying to restrain you, you forfeit your life. You have effectively forfeited your life. What more is there to say? I mean, seriously, what more is there to say? Keith Lamont Scott, a black man reading in his car, was shot unarmed, with family and media claiming no gun and portraying it as racial profiling. Dashcam and bodycam showed Scott exiting with a gun, ignoring commands. He had marijuana and a stolen gun. There are so many of these cases that have been portrayed by the media as if it's just, oh my, holy shit, the police, it's open season on the blacks. They're gunning us down worse than Jonestown. And that just rhymed. They're actually Jonestown, they didn't shoot people. They just made them drink Kool-Aid. But they made it seem as if the white man is out to get us. They're killing us. They're killing our men on the streets. Yeah, that's why they rioted, because they believed in this fake narrative, because the media whipped it up. And so these same people are telling me I gotta celebrate Black History Month. Go fuck yourself. With all due respect, go fuck yourself. I spit on your Black History Month. It is an absolute stain on society and should not be celebrated. With all due respect. I'll remember the civil rights leaders and I'll learn about that history because it's important. You need to learn that. That's part of, what made North America what it is today. And you can take whatever lessons you want from it, but you need to learn that. That is our history. Whatever your feelings on it, it happened. But to shove this down my throat, to make me feel guilty because I'm white, because slavery happened 200 years ago, nobody from that generation is still alive. You want to tell me that the excuse for all the rioting, all the death, all of this is because of that? Like, really? And I have to feel guilty for some reason? Go fuck yourself. Who the fuck do you think you are? No, I refuse. I refuse, and millions of people are too. They're sick and tired of being talked down to like this. Because we're a bunch of white niggas going hard as fuck. We're not going to take this anymore. We're not going to take this anymore. Let me see. Sorry, just checking my notes here. You know what? Let me just step away for a minute. I will be right back. as I was saying, that's exactly why this needs to be wiped out. It's built on a lie. It is violent and militant, and it seeks to shame anyone that doesn't agree with it. This ideology, this movement, whatever you want to call it, it's absolutely destructive to not only the society that adopts it, but to the people within. Because if you actually buy into this victim mentality as a black person, that the world is beating down upon you and every move you make will never be as good as you want it to be, any aspiration you might have, all of it is affected by whiteness. Because even if a white man isn't keeping you down, they believe that whiteness exists inherently in all these systems, whether it's education or business, finance, what have you, social hierarchy, that whiteness will always keep you down and you have to rebel at every point and you have to call out racism. These people fundamentally see themselves as victims, right? The black people that actually believe in this, they see themselves as victims, and that is the lens through which all of their actions are framed. Right? And that's the black people side of it. The white people, they feel some sort of guilt. Right? They want to appease their conscience and put themselves on the altar. You know, that's what they feel fundamentally. I mean, what was it? Renee Good. I played that video on an episode. That woman that got shot by ICE because she tried to run over the agents. There was a woman that came to her vigil the next day, and no word of a lie, she said something along the lines of, you know, I don't know if it's the right thing for white women, you know, to even be here, to be a part of it, because it's really taking the energy and the focus away from all these immigrants and these minorities. That's what they believe in. They approach BLM with the exact same fucking mindset. They're shameful, they're remorseful, as if they're personally responsible for it, as if they owned a slave. Right? This is the energy that the white liberals bring. Right? You had multiple cases where like people got down on the street and needled and kissed black Israelites' boots. I saw at least one video of that. That father and son that like wore chains and did a whole thing about it. It was so performative. The amount of influencers that just went to these marches, that took photos. I mean, my God. If you see yourselves as either the victims of, or perpetrators of something that happened 200 years ago, I don't know what to tell you. Your frame of mind is so warped, so twisted that you don't even see reality in the same way that I do. You know, like hate is a strong word, but I have very strong discontent for communists and people that believe in the communist regime, particularly because of my background, because I've learned about it and, you know, family experience and history and all that. But I don't want these people to die. I want less people to have that belief and that like hold it so dear to their heart, because misguided is is not even the right word here, but that is the angle through which they come at it. But I don't want their destruction. I don't want these people doxxed. I don't want them to be violently attacked. And that's what some of these BLM people believe in. The same people pushing this Black History Month stuff. They fundamentally think that blacks are the victims of all history, time immemorial. With all due respect, give me a fucking break. How long are we going to stretch this? You know, it's the exact same with all the Holocaust memorial stuff. It's like, okay, we get it. It happened. Quit shoving that shit down our throats. Like it's insane. It's like it's self-masturbatory at this point. I mean, honestly, how often can you play the victim card until it gets old? It's just that this is getting exhausting. You know, and on that line, you know, part of the reason why it's getting so exhausting is because, you know, one of the things that's why I mentioned all the blacks that got shot during the peak of Black Lives Matter, right, in all these different cases. The heroes and the people that they picked out were like scumbags that went for officers' weapons or didn't comply. Like, it was basically a clear case, like, hey, this actually did not go in your favor, but they decided to stick with those symbols instead, which doesn't help, if I can even say this, it doesn't help the black brand. It doesn't help them actually have a better image of themselves. When you're picking a guy, George Floyd in this example, he held a gun to a woman's stomach. Now, it's disputed whether she was pregnant or not, but he did that during a robbery. What kind of a fucking shitless coward does that? I mean, what kind of a person does it take to do something like that, pregnant or not? Putting a gun to a woman's stomach as you're robbing her? Are you serious? I mean, that is beyond low life. Insane. And this is the hero that we're supposed to cheer for? He's the civil rights leader? Really? This fucking guy with a rap sheet as long as your arm? George Floyd? Really? He's our saint? Saint Floyd? That's why people make so many memes about it, because it's like, really? Like, of all the people you could have picked to be your figurehead, you pick this fucking loser? Insane. Insane. You know, it took more than 50 years for MLK's homosexuality to become, like, mainstream. Right? How he abused his women and had these orgies and all this crazy shit. At least that took some time. People, you know, maybe they played it close to the vest back then. Maybe that was it. Took time for those secrets to come out. George Floyd got released the next day. People were like, oh, let me look at his rap sheet. Oh, wow, he's like a storied criminal. He's not just like some innocent black guy that just happened to go in the wrong convenience store. No, he paid with a counterfeit $20 bill. He got police attention on him while his dealer is in the car. Why would you buy okay, just as an idea, right? Forget all the racist shit. Forget all anyone that's ever bought drugs. Why would you risk, especially if you're fucking buying Fent and your dealer is in your car, God knows how much he's carrying. Why would you risk that? That's such a fucking retard move. You can't just pay with a real 20. You decide to pay with a counterfeit 20. If you can't afford $20, like to pay for something with, and you're buying drugs, maybe your priorities in life just aren't where they should be. Maybe you're just not making the right choices. You know? Having a knife in your hand when the cops are telling you to drop it and then you reach for something in your car, what do you think is going to happen? And I can't believe this even needs to be said. The fact that this isn't commonplace understanding, all this stuff about BLM, you know, I like how these movements, the way that it happens is we have all this hubbub, all this hype. And then once the truth comes out, nobody gives a shit. Nobody corrects the record. Nobody actually goes out and says, oh man, as this local government and your representatives, maybe we shouldn't have supported them. These people are actually scumbags. They took millions that were donated. They were supposed to go to help the community, and they bought houses. They bought mansions. Multiple. Maybe this isn't the right thing to do. Maybe we actually shouldn't be allying ourselves with this. Fucking insane. And here's the more fucked up thing, right? Just on the same angle regarding George Floyd. I have Black History Month fatigue. I also have black fatigue. I'm tired of this. I am so fucking done with this kind of behavior being socially acceptable. I was just on the train the other night, headed home from work. Black guy walking up and down the train car, phone on speaker, and he is doing like a live cast. I peek at his phone for a second as he's walking by. There's like 8 other people in the call, and they're all streaming on some service, and they're talking something about masculinity or what at the top of his lungs. I mean, Jesus, almost every single night, almost every single time I take public transit now, there's one of these incidents. And if it's not a black person, it's another minority. It's fucking exhausting. It is exhausting. Because you might think, oh, whatever, he's playing on a speaker, who gives a shit? Just put your headphones in. Okay. First of all, that's how social decay happens. When people stop giving a shit about morals and decorum, right? When you stop caring about what you're doing in public, that's how you get people smoking on the train. That's how you get people pissing on the train. When you start getting rid of any of that, okay, that's when it becomes fucking 1970s New York. And I don't think anybody wants that. I really don't. I really don't think we want our public transit to be like that. There have been incidents I've seen of black people smoking, straight up just attacking on the TTC. It is exhausting. It is fucking exhausting. I'm so done with this fucking behavior. Out in public, they don't give a shit. I mean, for fuck's sake, this is a story I didn't even know about until the other day. Rosa Parks had her home broken into by a black guy who beat her. Jesus Christ. He beat her and robbed her, and he knew who she was. When he broke into her house, he's like, wait, I recognize you. Aren't you Rosa Parks, the lady I learned about in school? And she's like, yeah. And he still beat her and robbed her. There's a subset of the black population that can't act right. They can't behave. You have to actively avoid them if you want to be safe. This is a reality. And I'm tired of being told that it's racist to think like this, because it's not. It's self-preservation. That's what it is. That's what it is fundamentally. If you don't understand this dynamic in society, if you have your head in the sand and you're ignoring this because you don't want to seem racist, you're doing it at your own peril, and you're doing it at the peril of your loved ones. $1,000%. Like, learn to read a situation. Understand that, hey, maybe probably shouldn't be around this many black people that are playing loud music or acting a fool on the subway. Dude, I was literally just told a story, not even like 2-3 months ago, by a close friend of mine who was traveling, going home, and these 8 teenagers who were celebrating one of their friends' birthdays, they were just going up to people and stealing their shit and just sitting on the train car. And they'd be going up to people and harassing them, and they just thought it was fun. We're just gonna tolerate this? This is this is okay? And then when February rolls around, I'm supposed to be happy that this is the state of the black community? This is the experience that I have with these people? Really? This is what we're proud of? We're proud of Irina? Everybody remember Irina? You know, everybody remembers fucking George Floyd. Nobody remembers Irina. Well, they remember her because they made a point of her. Yeah, you remember this girl? Irina Zarutska? Who was randomly stabbed by a black guy behind her? She's literally just sitting on her fucking phone, reading something, and this violent black man attacks her. This is the lived reality for many people across the United States, across Canada. And it's happening in Europe too, less so with, well, they had a lot of African migrants, but it's just more so with migrants in general. With us here, yeah, it's a lot of black people. It's a lot of black people doing this shit. It just it happens enough times where you're like, okay, this pattern I'm sensing, yeah, I'm tired of being called a racist for it, and I actually don't give a shit. I really don't. I don't care if you call me a racist. I really don't give a fuck. I want to live. I want to live in a high trust society. I want to be able to go to a place and not have to fear for my fucking safety. I want to be able to take public transit and not fear for my safety. I mean, as I've said before on the show, where's my... I carry this shit with me everywhere I go. Everywhere I fucking go. That's coyote spray. I think it's... Yeah, dog and coyote spray. That's the only thing you can get in Canada to defend yourself. So that when I encounter a person like this on the subway, I at least have something. Because Jesus fucking Christ, this happens every single day. Every single day. There was an incident just this past summer of a man traveling like 2 subway stations, gets into a verbal altercation and immediately takes out a knife. I'll give you 2 guesses as to what his race was. It's insane. It's insane. Because as I said, I grew up with plenty of like genuinely smart, hardworking people that went on to become athletes, scholars, went to school, started businesses, what have you. They were black. They were nice people. They were decent because their families instilled morals into them. They understood the value of hard work. They're first-generation immigrants. But that's not what happens on average. And it's fucking tiring. Like, if you just look up black fatigue, my God, this shit is just so fucking exhausting to deal with. Because anybody knows, like, anytime you've dealt with this kind of attitude from a black person, it is just the most exhausting thing ever. At my job, where I'm working, there was an incident where we had clients come in. They didn't like the service that they got, so they immediately jumped to racism and labeled everybody they're racist. And for a second there, I was like, yo, hold the fuck up. Everybody, you haven't talked to half the people here. What does racism have to do with any of this? Just yelling in the lobby like, dude, shut the fuck up. My God, they're so fucking full of themselves, and I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of it. Like, it's crazy the amount that we tolerate.
Then you need to leave. You need to give me my $12. I'm not giving you anything. You need to leave or you'll be under arrest for trespassing.
Ain't nobody trespassing.
I know. You are now being told to leave. You're now being trespassed. Get out.
I tell you, yo.
You're under arrest. You're under arrest.
Don't touch it.
Yeah, good idea. Push a cop. That's great. That's smart. This is also a great one. I love this one. Asians do not give a fuck. They will 100% just be straight up racist to black people. It's hilarious.
Talk to us all kind of way you want to, bro. The fuck? I can talk to you however the hell I want. No, you cannot. Go back to your damn country if you want to act like that. Back to the... You just told me to go back to my country? Yes, I did say that. Bitch, I saw your fucking EBT card in there. Guess who? So what? Guess who paid for that motherfucking shit? What? I did. Oh, well. Bitch, you know how... How you want me to feed my kids? I'm fat. Oh, my fucking God, bro. You got me fucked up, bro. Yeah, you got me fucked up. I pay taxes for your fucking food. Yeah, bitches like to eat and my kids like to eat. I pay taxes for your fucking food and you told me to go back to my country? That's what you fucking lazy, big-ass bitch. The fuck look like a fucking upside down bowling pin looking ass. That's because I like to. You look like my fucking Suburban, okay? Fucking potato bill looking ass head. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh my I love the Chinese, or sorry, not the Chinese, the Asians. He looks more, probably Vietnamese based on the fact that it's a nail salon. But that is hilarious. Oh yeah, take a look at this gem. This is great.
What you doing, bro? That's a female. Oh, shit. Get the talkie. Get the talkie. Oh.
Yeah, there's a subset of the population that we can't be nice with. There's a subset of the population that will act like criminals. And a lot of them happen to be black. A lot of them do. There are so many of these videos and incidents. It is fucking exhausting. Like, really? You're just gonna stand in the middle of the road? How fucking entitled can you get? Insane. Insane. And look at this.
5 shots right now. 5 shots.
Can you be nice?
Damn, she got a BBL on her.
You're not filming us, are you?
Nah, this is stream. I'm filming me. Whoever.
Don't film us. You need to ask us before you do that.
We filming me. You gotta.
It's pointing over here.
Oh, he don't speak English, so every time somebody talks to the camera, he put it on them.
Okay. You know what? I think you guys need to go.
We ain't even do that. What if he stopped filming?
You need to put the camera away.
All right, put it down real quick. It's on me, bro. It's on me. You ain't gotta put it on.
Yeah. No, you guys need to go. Don't.
It's on me.
No, I've already told you. I've told you twice now. You gotta go. I'm not dealing with that.
She racist, y'all. She racist.
Yeah, I'm racist.
Yeah, immediately goes to racism. Yeah, classic. Because once again, if you're brought up with that victim mentality, right, if that's what you truly believe in, then that's exactly how you're going to behave. Anytime you meet an obstacle, you're going to be like, oh, well, that's because you're racist. You're not letting me act like how I want to act. You're racist. I mean, my God, the amount of videos that there are out there that are like this is nothing short of insane.
Mr. Markel Parks. He was once a standout football player who was being recruited by the Ohio State University.
Wow.
Now he's a felon on the run, wanted for murder.
I want to get copyright struck, so I won't play the video in its entirety. Let me see if I can find some more. There's so many of these. There's so many of these. There's another one that I had saved. I think this is it. Oh, here it is. African migrants at a Munich fair. They even gave him back his fucking money. Are you serious? That's how nice Europeans are. They gave him back his fucking money. Are you fucking kidding me? If you did that in America, somebody would take that rifle and fucking headbutt you with it. Insane. Insane. This is just what they do. This is just what I do. And God, some of the aspects of the culture are just so fucking toxic. And look, I'm not the only person saying this. Okay, whenever a black person gets rich, the first thing they do is make it out of the hood. Their whole plan is to get out of that way of living because it's toxic. You're surrounded by violence and gang activity. For the people that are able to make it out of that situation, it's a fucking blessing. They don't come back. LeBron James isn't living in fucking Compton or wherever the hell he came from. He's not living in the hood. Neither was Kobe. Or any black athlete or any black person that makes millions. They don't live in the hood because they don't want to be surrounded by that. So guess what? They go live where the white people are, where the rich people are, where it's nice, where it's calm. Because they want that life for themselves. They want to get out of that violence. And I'm tired of pretending that it's mean or rude to point this out or that other people also want this. I mean, I didn't live in a gang-infested area when I came to Canada. But I lived in a fairly unsafe one at the time, at least. And let me tell you, we didn't live there long, okay? We moved as soon as we could afford to, and so did other people. Because we saw where it was going, and we knew we didn't want any part of it, and we wanted a better life for ourselves. So we moved out. That's a common thing that people did. And it's perfectly natural. It's self-preservation. When you see a black man wearing a hoodie, walking at midnight, and you're walking towards him on the same street, it is not an absolute awful thing to cross the street. That's just self-preservation. That's understanding statistics. Yeah, okay, he could be a really nice doctor. Okay, are you willing to chance your life on that? Really? Is that what we're at? We're just going to pretend to be nice? I mean, wasn't there that one incident somewhere in America where this couple was walking down and they see this guy acting violently and they're like, oh, fuck it, we're not racist, we'll walk down. They try to help him or something, and then the boyfriend got killed? What was that incident? Let me see if I can find it. Because it was a fairly, famous incident because people were like, oh, well, this is what you get. This is what you get for ignoring statistics. This is what you get for ignoring this real social dynamic that happens to be that there's a subset of the black population that is violent, and it's not an insignificant amount of them. I want to get this right, because this is easily, one of the best examples of this. 2007? No. This was recent, within the last 10 years. There was footage of it, I remember. 2023, Ryan Carson. I'm pretty sure this is the one, right? Yeah. He was stabbed in front of his girlfriend by the very people he advocated for. Ryan Carson, a 32-year-old white community activist and lawyer who worked on criminal justice reform, was walking home from a wedding with his girlfriend. They were sitting/standing at a bus stop in the Bed-Stuy neighborhood around 4 a.m. when they encountered an 18-year-old man who had been aggressively kicking and damaging scooters nearby. The suspect approached, said something like, "What are you looking at?" to Carson. Carson reportedly tried to de-escalate verbally without aggression. The man then stabbed Carlson multiple times, kicked him after he fell, threatened his girlfriend, and fled. The same guy that was working to help these people and to free them from their quote-unquote bondage of living in the 21st century in America, this is what he gets? Really? What about the killing of Austin Metcalf? What about this kid who was a junior in high school, had a 3.97 GPA, playing football? He was the MVP linebacker of the football team. By all means, a superstar that was going to do great and achieve great things. He had a twin brother, and this guy was killed at 10 a.m. on a school day. And people set up a GoFundMe for the guy that killed him. Anthony's family set up a... Oh, no, not Anthony. Wait, it was Anthony. Yeah, Anthony was charged with murder. Anthony's family was attacked online after a news report falsely claimed that he was living in a luxury... No, not that. Where's the fundraiser? Anthony's family set up a crowdfunding campaign on GiveSendGo to pay for legal defense, raising over $500,000. This is what those people think of you. This is what those people in BLM and that believe in the Black History Month and all this shit, this is what they think of you. When one of theirs attacks anybody for they will raise $500,000 for his legal defense. And the owner of the pizzeria in Frisco, where Metcalf worked part-time, raising nearly $250,000. Well, that's the white kid. He got half the amount. The black community rallied around him. Insane. Actually insane. That's what they think of you. That's what they think about your whiteness. They defend the guy that killed, by all means, an exceptional young man. I don't know anything about him, and I don't need to. But carrying a 3.9 GPA in your first year of high school, and you're also MVP line, like that's a lot. That takes a lot. Assholes and scumbags don't just get that. That's very fucking difficult to do. This guy, by all means, had a bright life ahead of him, and now is just snuffed out. The altercation started when the track and field championship event was delayed due to thunderstorms and heavy downpour. Hunter Metcalf told Anthony to move out from the memorial team's tent. Austin then confronted Anthony. During the argument that ensued, Anthony allegedly said, "Touch me and see what happens," while reaching his hand into his backpack. Metcalf then pushed away Anthony on the bleachers they were on. In response, he allegedly said, "Punch me and see what happens," to which Metcalf punched him. In response, Anthony pulled out a black knife from the backpack and stabbed Metcalf once in the chest before running away. Anthony first said, "I was protecting myself," and was emotional and crying hysterically after he was arrested. Yeah. Okay. So we're just gonna accept this. This is part of society. That this just happens. This is our social contract. These are the kind of people that we live with. That'll stab you at a moment's notice. That'll attack you randomly. And then those people that perpetrate these crimes, they get put up on a pedestal, and the victims get forgotten. Yeah, this is not the kind of society I want to live in, with all due respect. It really isn't. It really isn't. So I'm tired of being told that I have to celebrate Black History Month because of fucking old racism 200 years ago. We have to tolerate shit like this? We have to put up with this? Really? Fucking ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, it's nothing short of a betrayal. It really is. Not to mention they do shit like this. I don't want to play the music in case I get copyright struck, but like this is what their entertainment is. This is a kid. He's not even 18. Like this is their entertainment. This is what they do. This is what they idolize. What the fuck is this, man? Why are all the black Zoomers that just love yelling into the camera, why are they the top streamers? Why is Kai Cenat the top streamer? He can barely read. He literally just opened up a YouTube channel where he's taking time off Twitch and he's showing how he's learning how to read. And this is what's getting the views. This is like, what does that say about our culture, about where we're at? No. No, I'm sorry. With all due respect, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done caring. I really don't give a shit. I do not care. Next time I hear somebody fucking decrying the word racist, I don't care. I just don't care. I'm over it. I'm tired. I have black fatigue. I have Black History Month fatigue. I'm sick of it. And in Canada, these people get lenient sentences because of their race. Like, this is what we're supposed to tolerate? There's entire jobs that white men cannot apply for. And it's legal to discriminate in Canada based on that race. Because these DEI policies, they say, oh, well, black people aren't getting enough opportunities. We have to make employment opportunities specifically for black people. Great, so everyone else can get fucked? Like, what are we talking about? What are we doing? Why are we lowering school standards? Why is this happening? It has no place in society. This is in no way beneficial to anyone, least of all, right? I haven't even mentioned this. Least of all the black community, because there's a ton of these people that are, actively trying to get out of the hood. They play by the rules, they pay their taxes. They're tired of this shit too. You think black people like having this reputation? The average everyday person that just, they vote, they pay their bills, they go to school, they have a job, they get married, they have kids. They want to have a house, they want to have property, they want to contribute to society. You think they like this having this part of their reputation? How does this benefit them in any way? To be thought of as brutal, violent, unstable, worshiping money, worshiping sex? Like, this is the cultural ideal? What? This isn't just like a talking point by white racists. This is a true dynamic that's felt by so many black people out there that are like, what the fuck is this? Why are we worshiping this? And whenever they call this out, they get called race traitors. They get told that they're acting white because they know how to speak properly. What the fuck is that all about? What kind of crabs in a bucket mentality is that? Speaking properly means you're white, and whiteness is associated with negativity? What are you on? I mean, look, the exhaustion of Black Lives Matter and the Black History Month shit has gotten to the point where somebody was able to make an app. They literally made an app for people to understand to what extent are they living around black people in their community. And this thing went fucking viral. I mean, absolutely viral. It has millions of hits. People are nonstop just using it to see how close am I in the vicinity in my neighborhood to black people. They're literally doing this. Let me see if I can find the poster, because this is nothing short of hilarious. I mean, truly. I believe his name is Beaver. Let me see if I can find it. No, it's not Beaver. Retard Mode, that's his name. This guy made a website that is going viral for, I mean, hilarious reasons. He cross-referenced, like, the names registry, and then also, like, to what extent are there, like, Popeyes and Waffle Houses and public housing and Section 8 housing, liquor stores, bail bonds, methadone clinics, pawn shops, to find out where the hot zones exist so that people can avoid them. Because, yeah, once again, why would any person want to live in that kind of a neighborhood where your only stores are gun shops, liquor stores, nail salons, fried chicken shops? Like, what kind of a living is that? You know exactly what kind of a neighborhood that describes. A neighborhood where the Target leaves because of too much theft? Who wants to live in that kind of an area? Once again, it's self-preservation. That's all that it is. Oh, look, they actually mapped out Toronto. That's hilarious. I didn't think they would actually map out Toronto. Which, yeah, this makes sense. There are certain areas in the city where you go. I remember famously, not famously, but I knew somebody that wanted to live, someone close to me that wanted to live in Jane and Finch when they came to Canada, because they didn't know the area. So they saw that there was cheap rent and they drove by there in the taxi, and the driver was like, you definitely don't want to raise a family here because this is not a safe area. And guess what the predominant population of that area is? I'll give you 2 guesses. So yeah, it's perfectly natural for people to not want to live around that kind of activity. This whole area right here, I've biked here. This is a fucking, not a no-go zone, but you don't want to be caught there at night walking on your own. You really don't. And this is like minutes away from downtown. Whenever I'm biking through there, there's needles on the ground. There's people doing the fentanyl. The whole place is just so fucking grimy. It's disgusting. I avoid it every time that I can. Just if I need to go downtown, I will actively avoid that street. Once again, self-preservation. Like, why? And look, this all ties back to Black History Month and BLM. Because this idea of black fatigue, now that it's spreading, and people are tired of dealing with this, they're tired of dealing with the consequences of all this. Okay, this is important. This is one of the things, right? The way that it relates to Canada First, we need to clean up these fucking neighborhoods. We need to get these people prison sentences. We need to absolutely destroy their ability to commit crimes on the general populace. I'm talking from everything from robbery to misbehaving, not even misbehaving, but like literally just causing havoc and holding people up and stabbing them on the TTC. How that isn't a bigger policy for the city, I'm so confused. I don't understand. And this isn't just happening in Toronto. It's happening everywhere across Canada. Toronto's kind of a hotspot because of how big of a city it is, but this is happening everywhere. Okay? And people are sick and tired of it. They shouldn't have to put up with this way of life. They shouldn't have to put up with this potential danger. In the same way that they shouldn't put up with mass migration from India. It's in the exact same vein. Anybody that spends enough time in these neighborhoods will tell you the exact same thing. This is not good. We shouldn't have this in a city. We shouldn't have this in our society. If we want to live in a high-trust society, we can't have behavior like this. We can't tolerate it. There has to be zero tolerance. We can't excuse people's crimes because of their race. We can't change educational standards because black people are falling behind. We can't do that. It kneecaps us as a society. And whenever we worship at its altar every February, you're not doing these people any justice. All these stores that are having sales, all these posters that are going up, who the fuck is that helping? That's helping the inner city kids? Really? That's really helping them? It's really building opportunities for them? No. No, these people need peace, order, and good government. Right, as I've said before on the show, that's what matters. That's what gets us across the finish line. Not whatever the fuck this is. Why are we virtue signaling about this? Why are we putting George Floyd on a pedestal he doesn't deserve? You know, here's one positive thing. Okay, the only positive thing, or okay, I guess one of the positive things about Black History Month, okay? There are actual real black people out there doing incredible work, especially for like race relations. There are some people actually putting in the good work. And I don't mean these are like activists. Daryl Davis, who I've mentioned before on the show, okay, this guy has a hell of a fucking story. A hell of a story. He's made an appearance on the Joe Rogan podcast. It's one of the best episodes ever, easily. This is like Rogan at his peak. This guy right here, okay, he was the son of a, I believe a UN diplomat. Or, Department of State Foreign Service officer. He moved around the world. Right? Comes back to live in America. Is also a prolific musician. Loves the fucking blues. He's played with Chuck Berry, Jerry Lee Lewis, B.B. King, legends in their own right. All as individuals, legends. And this guy's played with them. Okay, so he knows his music. He's fucking good. Okay, and that's just his side thing that he does. Right? Another little side thing that he does is he has sat down with dozens of members of the Ku Klux Klan and successfully converted them. He's talked to these people, including grand wizards, right? People that organize the movement, the group, and he's converted them. Do you realize what it takes to take a man in his 50s and 60s that's been living racism, living through racism his whole life, like just that's the lens that he views the world in, and to convince him otherwise? Do you understand how difficult of a feat that is? And this guy's done it dozens of times. Dozens. This guy's a fucking legend. The Black History Month movement, okay, all these people that are purporting to support the civil rights and the advancement of black Americans, this guy should be put on a pedestal. His name should be the one that everyone knows. But unless you watched that Joe Rogan episode or seen him on other podcasts, you wouldn't know anything about him. You wouldn't know anything about him. Or how about Thomas Sowell? Another amazing black person. No, not the neo-Nazi. Hold on. The black guy. Oh, I mispronounced his name. So misspelled his name. Thomas Sowell. Extremely smart academic. Extremely smart. He was an important figure to the conservative movement during the Reagan era. And he influenced Supreme Court U.S. Justice Clarence Thomas. He was offered the position as Federal Trade Commissioner in the Ford administration and was considered for posts including U.S. Secretary of Education in the Reagan administration, but declined both times. Look, whatever his fucking politics are, that is no small offer. He served as a Marine. This guy went on to write fucking like so many books. So many books. And it has done completely like pinpoint accurate commentary on where the civil rights movement is, why the condition of black lives are so awful. Right? Like this guy is legit, like maybe not even borderline, but actual like close to genius, basically genius. So prolific. He's written more than 45 books. A syndicated columnist in more than 150 newspapers. This guy should also be celebrated. But because he's a conservative, because he doesn't align with the mentality that blacks have to be victims and so on and so forth, he gets shoved into the fucking dustbin of history. He's known by the right people and plenty of people know about him, but I mean, my God, of all the heroes they picked George Floyd over a man like this? Really? And he's still alive, mind you. He's still alive. He's 95. I mean, what more is there to be said? If you know anything about Thomas Sowell or any of his writings, his analysis, his breakdown on the societal conditions of the black experience, I mean, he is so on point. And that's not even because of my biases. Just if you listen to any of his speeches or any of the talks that he's had, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. This man is a titan in his own right, just like the last gentleman was, Daryl Davis, another titan in his own right. And there are plenty of stories like this of successful black people that make it, that are actively contributing to culture and humanity's knowledge, like genuinely capable people, and nobody talks about them. Nobody celebrates them. Because they don't go along with the movement. They have disagreements with Black Lives Matter for one reason or another. They're sidelined. So that's why, right, just to end it off, all of that, right, that's why I genuinely am so sick and tired of being told that I have to celebrate Black History Month, or that I have to commemorate it, or that I have to remember it, fuck off. Fuck off. Half these people that believe in it, they want the whites dead. They want to dismantle the whiteness. The other half is irrationally angry and will lash out at you in unknown times, unpredictable times. Just fucking stab you over an argument. God, you say the word nigger around them and they explode. They beat you to death. What other race has that? If I call a Chinese person a chink, they're not gonna kung fu kill me, right? If I call an Irishman, I don't know, potato head or whatever the fuck, like there's no other race that reacts like that. Just irrationally violent. So yeah, I'm done with tolerating that. I'm done. I'm sick and tired of it. You know, I had this shit shoved on me when I was in university studying social sciences, and I was sick of it too. When I got a hold of Michael Brown's court documents and actually read the evidence that they were presenting in the court, I realized, oh, the narrative that we're being told is like actually a complete lie. And the moment that I brought that up to anyone, whether it was my classmates or people on Facebook or what have you, my God, did they get heated. Oh boy, did they not like their narrative questioned. Oh boy, let me tell you. I effectively ostracized myself in more ways than one by speaking out like that. It was nuts. It was nuts. And it's still the same thing to this day. You're still treated the same way. Well, you know what? I don't care. I really don't care anymore. I don't care. Which is why exactly I want to do this episode, because I just don't give a shit. I'm tired of it. I have Black History Month fatigue, and I have black fatigue. And I know I'm not alone in this. So for the sake of self-preservation, yeah, that's how I'm going to keep going. That's how I'm going to keep going. In any case, the other topic that I wanted to cover for tonight, as much as I'd love to go into it, it's going to take a lot more time than I have, unfortunately. But we will be talking about it, because it is important to discuss why, in the same breath as, you know, when I started this whole rant about Black Lives Matter, we can't share a decent society with these people. They fundamentally disagree with some very basic things, like freedom of discussion, freedom of expression, not treating people favorably based on their race. Because they disagree with us on that fundamentally, they need to not only be ostracized, but removed from power in every single way possible, so that they do not have the capital, the influence, the connections to make any significant change. Right? In the same vein that needs to happen to Black Lives Matter and the Black History Movement and all that, whatever the fuck you want to call it now, civil rights in the 21st century, that same thing needs to happen to the left on a much wider scale if we are to make any headway into where we're headed for the next 100 years. And that'll be the discussion for, the topic rather, probably for Friday's episode. So I'll be working on that. And then, yeah, just tune in tomorrow night, where my co-host and I, Mr. Fireside Chats, are going to be going over the convoy. I hope you guys have had a entertaining time. I hope you're not too fatigued. And hey, once again, to all my real niggas out there, happy Black History Month. With that, we'll end it off here. As always, if you want to have your donation read out loud on stream, if you have a question for me, you can check out the PayPal link at bio.link/whitepill, or check the crypto link, which we've set up recently. Merch is on the way. I know I keep saying that, but it is on the way. I have pieces that are in place. We are making it happen. So, not to worry there. Bear with me for 1 second. Let me just double check one thing here. Apologies. Okay. So yeah, with that being said, thank you all for making it this far. I appreciate each and every one of you that is tuned in. I hope you all have a wonderful White Pill Wednesday, because today is Wednesday now. It's 4 a.m. We'll see you guys later tonight. And without further ado,